this episode of the podcast, I'm talking with my good friend Sonia Campbell, and we go over horror Oscars of 2023. This is the second annual horror Oscars. We did one for last year as well, and then we have this one for 2023. So it's going to be a yearly thing that we do, and I hope everybody digs this episode. It was really fun, and we enjoy doing these horror Oscars, and I think it's something cool to do every year. So yeah, definitely hope everybody enjoys this. After you're done with this episode, make sure you check out my fellow horsemen of the podcast Apocalypse, Everything Went Black podcast, Into the Necrosphere, the Necromaniacs podcast, Spitball Media, Iblis Manifestations, and the Soul Knocks podcast. And if you want to support the podcast, leave me a 5-star rating on whatever podcast service that you use. That would be most appreciated. And also check out the merch store for the Horror Wolf 666 podcast, which is at Horror Wolf 666 podcast Teespring store. I have hoodies, shirts, mugs, all kinds of stuff on there. So definitely want to check that out. And once again, hope you enjoy this episode, and thanks so much for listening. All right, this episode here is the second annual Horror Oscars for 2023, and this is our second episode. Me and Sonia did the last one last year, and I thought that went pretty cool. I thought it was a fun one.
I agree. It was good times.
So this is going to be like an annual thing, and it's a bit of a good way to like kind of get our top films of last year out there as well in like a fun way. So
yeah. And I will say, I don't know about you, but I thought that 2023 wasn't quite as good as the years previous in terms of the horror films that were out there.
Totally agree with that. It was rough when I came up with my actual top 10 and actually doing this list. I'm like, man, maybe there was one film last year that actually had like a 10 out of 10 for me. I think it was only one, maybe two, but like the years before that, like we've been like doing really well with good horror, but yeah. rough year.
It was surprisingly good years previous to that. And I guess I got kind of spoiled because, when we were prepping kind of for this and I was thinking about 2023 and I looked up like a list on IMDb and I was just thinking like trying to rack my brain, like, what did I watch? What was good last year? And really like sort of got alarmed. Like, you know what? There wasn't a whole lot to choose from, but that's okay. There definitely still was some great films. And I did go back and try to catch some indie ones that I missed. So,
yeah, I did the same thing. Like I was off for a Christmas vacation, and I was like on the catch up. I watched like 10 different films that I didn't get to catch for like earlier in 2023. And I'm glad I did that because one of those films made it to my like top of the list. So,
oh, that's good. Yeah, I was wondering if I had missed some stuff, but I like ones that were a bit more popular, but I didn't miss anything pretty popular. And I'm always like looking out for good indie stuff, but the indie horror, if I don't see anything word of mouth, so-called word of mouth, I guess what I mean is if I don't see that anybody that I follow or pay attention to or just, on social media somewhere with opinions that I agree with, if they didn't say anything about it, I'm probably not going to watch it. So I'm not the type to like sift through hundreds of films that I've never heard of and try to find a gem. I think if you've at least seen one person mention it, it's worth checking out. But nobody mentioning it, probably not going to watch it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't have time to like take my chances anymore. I used to do this back in the day, like, all right, this looks cool, I'm gonna go buy, the cover looks all right, I'm gonna try it out. But it's too much shit out right now, and I wait till I hear like people I respect with their views and stuff that what to check out. So I do the same thing.
It's pretty oversaturated, which is good and bad, So yeah.
Before we get into this, is there anything that you're like working on right now that you'd like to talk about before we, get on with the Oscars?
Yeah, so just finished a couple of screenplays and moving into the next steps, hopefully getting them produced and made. One of them is called Ruling Class, and it's well, they're both sci-fi horrors. This one is kind of like They Live, but with a gentrification theme.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on that one for like a year, and finally just we're gonna start getting it like out to some producers, I think, taking a look at it. It'll be definitely low budget, but I'm pretty excited about that. The possibility of something I wrote getting made. And then Mammoth, which is a script that I've co-wrote with Nick Duarte. He's a director, writer at Crown Chimp.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also, well, not a director, but a writer. And I do some other things at Crown Chimp. But it's a transcendental alien film that it kind of poses questions around skepticism of extraterrestrial life. So it's pretty relevant to these days. I think you might know I am a kind of an alien UFO freak, so I really enjoy watching a lot of podcasts and YouTubes about alien stuff. And then my music, my band, Magic Knives, which we've only been around like 1 year now, but we have 9 songs already mixed for an album. We're starting to talk about live shows coming up. And the music is pretty much like, I don't know how you'd describe it, but a lot of people say who listen to it that it's very cinematic and haunting. I think it kind of fuses like post-punk, indie, and gothic rock.
Yeah, definitely.
And I sing and play bass. My bandmates are guitarist and artist Daniel Martin Diaz, guitarist Daniel Singleton, and another Daniel on drums, Daniel Thomas. And they're all way better musicians than me. So I'm really happy and pleased that I get to work with these guys. They're just incredible. And on Instagram, people can follow us at magic with a K, magick.knives_music.
Nice. I got a question too with Magic Knives. Are you planning on doing any like vinyl releases or just like CD and digital or digital?
Definitely vinyl.
Okay, cool.
We already have Daniel Martin Diaz designed the album cover, and I haven't shared it yet, but it's so cool. I'll show it to you actually. It's just beautiful. But yeah, our plan is to do a vinyl, and then everything else I'm not 100% sure. We're just gonna kind of fish it around and see who might be interested in what we're doing. And yeah, probably from there, like Spotify or something like that.
That's really cool.
One, right? Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I've heard, like the stuff you shared, like it's way up my alley. It's, dark, gloomy. Like I said, it has that soundscapey feel to it, but also has like the post-punk goth thing going on. Really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, thanks.
I think you'll work out really well with like a Drab Majesty like combo show or whatever. Then it'd be a cool combo.
I can only dream. Yeah. My ultimate dream is getting in soundtracks.
Yeah, that's a good one to have. Yeah.
You guys are excited about playing live. I'm shy, so I'm less excited, but I will get excited.
Would this be your like first time playing live ever, or?
No, I've played live in the past. One of the guys I've played in a band in the past before as well, but it was like local shows or parties and much smaller things. And we're actually looking at possibly doing a show in Brooklyn this spring. I don't know how far away that is from you, Brandon, but
it's like 15 hours.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
That's
Are
not
you playing at St. Vitus?
What's that?
Is it going to be St. Vitus? I'm not sure if St. Vitus is in Brooklyn or not, though, but that's like one of the most famous clubs in New York.
I think it's like a festival with the different venues, but I'm not even 100% sure we're going to do that yet, but it's something that we may do this spring along with small shows here in town. Mm-hmm. I would like to play in Los Angeles as well. So we'll see. I have to get my feet wet again. It's been many, many years since I played live.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like riding a bicycle once you get up there and stuff, and you get your instrument and stuff in your hand. It's like, all right, I'm good to go.
Yeah. I hope you're right.
Yeah, Yeah, I know what I'm talking about on that. I'm one of those shies. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, anyways. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I was so like shy when I first started playing and stuff, but and I'm still like a shy person. But on stage, as long as I have my instrument in my hand, it's like having a shield.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I can shield away everybody, so it's good.
Oh sure. Yeah. One thing that helps me is if I see people I know, then I feel a little bit more comfortable. Like, okay, this is you and me here.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it'll be fine. I just not gonna think about it too much.
yeah. Don't do that. Definitely. And overthink it, and like psych you out big
Yeah.
time. Like,
It
oh
can
man.
happen. It could all like George Costanza.
Yeah, I feel like George, as I get older, like I become more George than I've ever been before. You know?
Yeah. I'm trying to become less.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Uh,
I got a really good friend of mine who is a total Kramer.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean he is totally Kramer, man. It's like it's almost to a T, and that's
Hilarious.
really cool. Yeah.
I mean I pretend I would love to be like a George slash Larry, but I know I'm a Lane. Like
Yeah, I
100%.
can see that. Yeah, everybody's somebody off of Seinfeld if you narrow it down.
Mhm. That's true. Yeah. Wait, who are you?
I don't know. A little bit of Costanza, maybe a little bit of Crazy Joe Davola. I don't know. A lot of Costanza though. Like I said, I've gotten older. It's a lot of Costanza. A
Uh-huh.
little bit of Jerry when it comes to just like not dealing with people in general. Like Jerry's kind of like fuck y'all. I want to do this instead, or he's more into him like his shit than what everybody else is doing. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. I never really thought about that, but I definitely feel the Costanza stuff like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eroticism.
Yeah.
Wait, so didn't he say guys with cats? I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. How about that? But yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you got some stuff and that's about to be hopefully turned into films and stuff that I can watch. And that'd be really cool, and I can review those and throw them out there on my social media pages and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
That'd be awesome. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to the music because like I said, I'm a huge fan of that style of like rock, darker stuff. I mean, I love my heavy metal and death metal, black metal and stuff, but I really enjoy like post punk and goth a whole bunch. So
Yeah, I just love the bass, and I really wanted it to be kind of up front where you could hear it, but I also play with a pick and very simple, and I think that's kind of throwback to the bands I loved from the 80s and 90s.
and it really I like the sound too with the pick. You get that like kind of heavier attack sound to it. I guess like I said, like the '80s sound. Totally get that.
Yeah. And by the way, if you ever try to find some interesting tutorials or reviews of basses on YouTube, none of those dudes playing with a pick. They're all up there like showing off and slapping it and everything, and I'm playing it really high on their chest. It's kind of
Yeah.
anyway.
Also on that subject matter, dealing with like YouTube videos and stuff for like instruments, like most like guitar pedal videos are fucking horrible, man. It's some dude like playing blues licks and shit, and it's like a gnarly ass distortion pedal, and he's playing like these shitty ass fucking blues things. I'm like, I don't want to fucking hear that. Play a goddamn power chord, man. Like, let me hear
Right.
what this pedal's. I don't want to hear you fucking soloing for 20 minutes.
Exactly. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
God, those are rough. There are a few good channels out there now, but right
Mhm.
when I started playing guitar though, like looking at pedals and all, it's like mostly that kind of shit. I'm like, man, I don't know what the hell this sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. When I was shopping around for a different short scale bass, it was just like, luckily I found one guy who showed how it sounds with a pick, but everyone else was just like, it's like funk, jazz, or just some slap shit. And I'm like, that ain't me.
Right, yeah.
Mm.
You can be the dude from Corn on bass, so wasn't it Fieldy or something? And he just does all the slap bass and stuff, like you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I talk about bass, people who don't really know much about it are like, oh, you like Primus? I'm like, get out of here.
I
Fine.
like Primus. They're not like a band I would go on my way to listen to. I respect them for what they are, and they have a few really good songs, but I'm not a big Primus fan. It's just too I don't know. It's a bit too avant-garde for me. It's just
I
out there,
agree.
like
I feel that way about Tool also and Rush, where I'm just like, I appreciate what's going on, but it's just not me.
I
It's
really dig Tool. The Lateralis was like their last really good album for me. Like I like Tool a lot. Rush, I respect Rush. The vocals have never been a big thing for me with Rush. I can't. It's hard to get into his vocals. They're like so like high pitched and whiny. I'm like, yeah.
Can't stand his vocals, but boy, I mean, I really appreciate the fact that he can play bass and sing. That's like the way that he does, where it's like
Yeah.
not rhythm, it's melodic. It's crazy. I don't get
No,
it.
they're masters of their craft. They're masters of their domain for sure.
They're masters of their domain, definitely. I appreciate every band we just said. All great in their way, just not my taste.
Oh yeah.
But what like mentioning Primus and bass is like, duh, yeah, that's a lot of bass playing, but I am not that.
Right.
It's a skill that I don't wish to acquire.
Yeah, that he's a freak on the bass, and yeah, there's not many people who do what he can do. What's that?
Same with Flea, but it's just so obvious. Like it's like the first thing that comes to mind from people who don't play bass that want to say they know something about bass. It's like, well, I guess I'm kind of like, my hero is maybe Carlos D from Interpol.
Who doesn't? He's fucking good as shit though. But just solid. He's not like fucking Les Claypool, in that style. He's just like nice, solid, groovy style.
What was great about his bass playing is it was unusual. Like he would throw in shit that was unexpected. Like he wasn't really concerned with being typical,
Mm-hmm.
And that gave it something different. It wasn't like you'd hear something, you're like, well, that's kind of almost like a disco beat. What's going on there? Just something kind of almost, I don't know, Rastafarian at times. You're like, what is that? But it just worked so well. And I think probably because he didn't give a shit, like clearly he didn't want to continue playing and didn't like playing bass.
Yeah. And I think he was like the best bass player they had, if I'm not mistaken. He was the gothy looking dude, correct?
I mean, I don't use that word, man, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah, he was he had the cool haircut, sort of angled hair, very looking. Ever since then, it's just like, to me, just looks like studio guys. No one can replace Carlos D. And of course I love Simon Gallup.
Yeah.
But that's an obvious one.
Yeah. Awesome. Hell yeah. Well, all good things there. And we should do a whole episode on like music and stuff one day. That'd be cool.
Yeah. We could do scores and soundtracks, composers, all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, way down with that. That'd be a really cool episode.
Cool.
So with the list that we have here for like our categories and everything, I was thinking we could start off down towards the bottom of it with like best cinematography, and work our way up. Then at the very end, we'll do our worst picture and weirdest picture and all that stuff.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, leave best picture for last, being that's like the best picture. So
Cool.
All right. So I guess I will let you lead this off.
Okay.
The best cinematography.
Okay.
2023.
So as we were saying earlier, there's kind of slim pickings for 2023 in terms of horror. So I did put a movie that is questionable whether it's horror. It did come up as a horror genre film, but the movie is Dream Scenario, and the DP is Benjamin Loeb.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. I was sitting there watching this film, and it's did you see it with Nicolas Cage?
I have not. And when you said that, I'm like, fuck, I totally forgot about that. No, I haven't seen that.
It's really great. I had been looking forward to it for a long time, and kept seeing the trailers and was like, this looks amazing. Saw it, loved it. And as I was sitting there in the theater, there's a particular scene where Nicolas Cage is lit really creepily. Like he's standing in this back corner of a room and it's completely dark and you just see his silhouette in the darkness. And I'm like, man, that's really eerie. And it also reminds me of one of my favorite scenes in Mandy, where once again, it's Nicolas Cage, and it's where there's sort of a flashback to when he and Mandy meet at a party or see each other at a party for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember how that scene was lit? It was just like, as it progressed, it was kind of like they were just silhouettes. And I found that really, really like profound. Like it was sad, but touching, and gave you a sense of dread, but also something else about it. I don't know how to describe it. That's why I say profound, is it gives you a lot of different emotions when you look at that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so it reminded me of that scene. And then at the end of the film, the credits come up, and it's Ben Loeb, the same director, the same DP. And I was like, oh, cool. That's interesting. I recognized his work. He's got a very cool style. Not to say like this is his only style. They're different. The scenes are different, but I just love that, you can see his style. It's enough to recognize it. And that kind of scene, he's like masterful at doing that kind of lighting. So that's my vote for best DP. I do have like an honorable mention though. Another DP who he hasn't done a lot of stuff that I can see yet. I looked on his IMDb, named Bryn Cashin, and he was the cinematographer for a film called My Animal. And it just has some beautiful, beautiful shots, just very eloquent and elegant, maybe that's the right word. Where it was kind of similar to the way Ben Loeb sort of lights things in a way, but it had that gorgeous like neon and red lighting. It fit the mood of the film. A lot of nighttime shots that were just like low lighting. That masterful sort of composition of the low lighting in the scenes is just like fantastic, and it really did set like this mood and this tone that the film needed to be like to excel, in my opinion.
Right.
So yeah, those are my picks. Both of them for like doing these dark scenes that gave a lot of cool mood and contrast.
Nice. Yeah, that now I definitely need to watch that because I'm a sucker for like the reds, the like the dark purples, the blues and stuff, and cinematography. I'm just a sucker for that. Like that can win me over, even if the film is not like perfect, but it looks that good. I love that.
Exactly. Yeah, it really does make a difference. So yeah, I'm going to be following this guy, Bryn Cashin, it's Mick Cashin, to see like what he does in the future, because I think he's going to do some cool stuff.
Oh yeah, and that's one I'm adding to my list to watch really, really soon. Do you know if it's up for like streaming yet or able?
You're talking about Dream Scenario?
Yeah.
I believe I saw it for rent on Amazon. Yeah. Yes. Okay. On Prime.
Can't believe that like got by me, and I was looking forward to watching that. I just can't remember what the name of it was. I know it was like Nicolas Cage, like in dreams and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I need to see this, but I totally forgot till now. All right, so my favorite cinematography category of 2023 film is Where the Devil Roams by the Addams Family. I don't know if have you seen that?
I have not.
Okay, Where the Devil? Are you familiar with the Addams Family's work? It's the Addams Family consists of Toby Poser, Zelda Adams, and John Adams, and Lulu Adams. They're like a whole family that they do everything. They film, direct, write, all that stuff.
Yeah, I am familiar with them. I love Hellbender. Yeah.
Hellbender's awesome.
So good. Yeah. Okay, no, I didn't see that though. I didn't realize they had a film last year. That's cool.
And the cool thing with this one, they have a deal with Tubi. This is actual Tubi original, so it's on there right now streaming. And to me, I think it's their best work yet. And I'm a fan of all their stuff. Since like The Deeper You Dig, Hellbender and all that stuff. And I just think it looks so good. It's dark and really there's a big brooding aspect to it, and it's kind of like it's kind of filmed in it looks like it's filmed back in maybe like early 1900s, and just the colors, a lot of dark blacks and browns and stuff like that. I don't know, they did a hell of a job fucking making this look so damn good.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I've shied a little bit away from Tubi originals, but this gives it some credit, so I'm gonna check that out, and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, this also made I think it made my number 10 list of favorite films last year just because I love their attitude with filmmaking. They're like
Yeah,
so like punk rock and metal about it, and you know,
100%.
and they're fucking cool as shit and really great people.
I just love that too. I love that it's just like a major indie film spirit, and it's awesome that they have total control over what they're doing, as far as I know.
Yeah, they do what they want. They were on the podcast last year, I think it was, and I'm gonna have them on again, hopefully soon this year. And yeah, they're in charge of everything. It's all them, and you know the
Yeah,
whole family's involved, and I just think that's really awesome. And they also hire a bunch of like local actors and some
yeah,
non-actors. They just throw out there like friends of theirs and make it
uh-huh.
work. And yeah,
I love
it's
it.
fucking cool.
That's so awesome.
So yeah, Where the Devil Roams is my favorite for cinematography of last year.
Very cool.
So now we're up to I think it's best villain.
Dylan.
Yeah.
I had a hard time with this one because, I mean, I did find several films that I liked, but there wasn't really like a villain, like an Art the Clown type villain this year.
Right.
You know,
No, exactly.
I shouldn't even say, Art the Clown because that's hard to beat. That's like iconic now. But
Yeah. Yeah.
villain, like a true villain. So I actually chose Dracula by default from The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Me too.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if it's because it was Slim Pickens, but I'm not really sure why so many people liked this movie. Because to me, it was kind of blah, and Dracula is straight up CG, right?
Mhm. For the most part, yeah, yeah. A lot of that CG, yeah.
He didn't need he didn't need to be like they had an actor that he was, that was doing the drag, or what am I trying to say? I don't know if they did like a motion capture, but they had an actor playing Dracula. But it looked like all CG for the most part of the film, and I don't see why it had to be. Like it didn't make sense to me not to just have the guy in his makeup and practical the whole time. Maybe for a couple
Hmm.
scenes, like if he's moving really quickly, because the design was good, but it really did take me out of the film. And as a whole, the movie, like I said, I had several friends. Like when sometimes I post what I'm watching right now on my Instagram, and I had several friends say, "Oh, I love this one. I like this one. Um, this is really good." Blah blah blah. And I think maybe if I had seen it in the theater, I might have liked it a little bit more.
Hmm.
But I felt like people were just kind of like, "Oh, finally, it's something that I saw that didn't suck." And I could sit through it, and I like stuff that's at night in the ocean,
Right.
Because to me, I didn't think it was that great of a film overall, and nothing was very compelling. But so I'm choosing Dracula because it's Dracula,
Yeah.
and I love
And
Dracula.
Slim Pickens.
Yeah, so that's my pick, and that for no other reason than it's Dracula.
All right, well, we'll just go ahead right to my pick for favorite villain. It was also Dracula from this film, the last Voyage of the Demeter. Like I said, like you were saying, there wasn't no big bad of last year. Like we had Art the Clown the year before that, and we had Mother from Barbarian, which I thought was a pretty badass villain, you know.
Yeah,
But
no.
I don't know. It was a slim pickings, and this film here did make my top 10 list, but it's pretty low on the list, just because like it was a hard year to have anything that really hit hard, you know.
Mhm.
So I did enjoy this, but it's an 8 out of 10 movie all day for me. It's nothing. It doesn't rank any higher than that. Like 8 out of 10 is pretty average, you know.
8 out of
But
10 is high. I would say average is like 5.
oh, not yeah. My grading score is a little weird. Like if I give something like a seven is equivalent to like a 6.5 or a 6. You know what I mean? Like an 8 is. I'm weird like that. I rarely give things fives, except for the worst movie that's going to be on this list when we talk about that later. My most disappointing movie of the year. That shit
Uh-huh.
might have like a 4.
Uh,
So
okay.
that's real bad for me. In regular terms, that's like a 1. You know. So
I think that's good that you give extra points because that seems to me like you're taking into account how hard it is to make a movie in the first place,
yes.
distributed and released and out there. So
Yeah, and I've reviewed a whole bunch of like indie films, especially when I was doing like the with the Horror Wolf website, and I was hardcore into that before I did the podcast. I was doing a lot of reviews, and I'm getting a lot of indie stuff there, and that's something you have to take account for. Like, this is a lot of work put in these films. I hate when I see people just like this utterly like trash and shit, like, oh, this is a one. Like, you have no idea what went into that film, even though you might have thought it sucked or it wasn't a great film, but still, a lot of work that went into it.
Exactly. And like I will say that like our last horror Oscars, we did talk about Skinamarink a little bit in terms of like we had a category of like that current year.
Mm-hmm.
I would say my opinion of it has changed a bit to where I have more appreciation for it after I saw the worst of 2023.
Yeah.
I was like, that one was original. But it kind of with the last voyage of the Demeter, I kind of thought of was, do you remember that episode in Love, Death and Robots, season 3 that David Fincher
with the giant crab thing? No.
Yeah, like
was it? Yeah.
That I think it's called Bad Traveling. That episode, man, that is like a perfect mix of that sea travel period piece with creepy creature, like so good. I would love to see that made.
Yeah, that would be fucking cool as hell.
Was like, I just thought it was a bit lackluster.
Yeah, and like I said, Dracula is the villain. Like, the guy that played Dracula is Javier Botet, and he was also the main like demon in Wreck, and I fucking love Wreck. Not the American version, which is called like some other shit. Can't remember off the top of my head. But anyways, the Spanish version Wreck, and he has a certain body type. I think he has some type of condition where he's like extremely tall, but he only weighs like 150 pounds, and he can play all these crazy roles that most people think are like CGI, and a lot of it's him. Oh, so that's something too. Like a lot of the stuff you saw in this movie here, there was a lot of CGI, but a lot of that was him. He's just shaped differently,
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, why not just use him, like 98% him?
Yes,
I don't get it. So
he played in what was it? Let's see here. I'm looking at my IMDb. He was in the one of the was it a Conjuring movies? I think it was one of the Conjuring films. Yeah, Conjuring 2. He played the Crooked Man, and a lot of people thought that was all CGI, but I think 98% of that was all him, just because he has, I'm like, that is fucking creepy as hell. Like, his movements were like unnatural.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to learn like why they decided to do so much CG as opposed to just using him.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a budget thing or something, or a time constriction thing. I don't know.
To do the effects.
What's that?
I think it would be more expensive to do the effects rather than have the guy there just doing it in person.
That's true. Maybe they filmed this during the time of COVID or something too. Maybe had some issues with it.
There's no excuse.
No excuse. Yeah, I agree. I'm practical all the way. No excuse.
Would be CG too.
Yeah, you're right. That is true.
What if it had just been all CG? Like remember when they did what was that movie, Beowulf?
Oh God, yeah, I didn't like that.
I kind of want to see more stuff like that though, because I could watch an entire like video game and enjoy it as a movie if it's written well. I wouldn't mind some of that stuff coming back if it's better than Avatar,
That's like like you said, going back to Love and Robots. There's an episode on there with the werewolves out in the desert and the army guys and shit. I'm like, I want to see a full fucking movie of this.
So good. Yeah, it's basically dog soldiers, right?
Yeah, and the CGI is so good.
It really is. Almost everything in that show, I would love to see it extended as a film. That show just has some of the best stories. I hope there's another one soon. And man, Jabaro, can't say enough about that one.
Oh yeah, that one was bad.
Imagine that as an hour and a half movie.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm totally down. Like, yeah, let's do more of these and less of these fucking like horrible shit they throw on Netflix now.
Exactly.
Netflix originals. Oh man, there's a bunch of shit on there. I don't. It's hard for me to get through Netflix sometimes. Netflix is mostly what I used to watch. What do I watch? I think Seinfeld's on Netflix, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all I watch on Netflix's Seinfeld.
Yeah,
And
too.
I own seasons of it, but I'm like, I'm lazy. I'm just gonna watch it. I'm just gonna stream it. So,
Yeah. Although I am looking forward to Spaceman, which is a Netflix one coming out, which stars Adam Sandler. And it's going to be a sci-fi movie coming out March 1st. And it's directed by the same director that did Chernobyl,
oh no
Joanne
shit.
Renck, which is great. But
Hmm.
check out the plot. It's a sci-fi drama about a failing marriage and a talking spider from the beginning of time.
Oh shit. With Adam Sandler, I'm down.
Adam Sandler, the wife is played by Carey Mulligan, who is
Nice.
wonderful and everything, but it looks great, and I have high hopes on that one.
Yeah, it sounds weird, and I like weird, and director
Mhm.
Chernobyl and stuff. That should be good.
Yeah, it does sound like another Love, Death, and Robots kind of story too. So yeah,
Yes, I love like the dystopian type shit, like Love, Death, and Robots, and also Black Mirror.
yeah.
I enjoyed the last season of Black
Ooh, the
Mirror a
last
lot.
season was great. They had some like legit horror stuff in the last season, like
Yeah.
Demons 9, I think it was called. Oh, so good.
Oh yeah, that was a really good one. That was like the last episode, I think.
Yeah, that was
Even a
amazing.
werewolf episode. How about that? Which was
The
I wasn't expecting a
werewolf
werewolf episode. Yeah.
and the one with the astronauts. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. So we need
Yeah.
another season of that. So I bet we probably have another 2 years on that though. You
I
know.
would, yeah, both of them, they're just almost impeccable.
Hmm. All right. So now we're up to best hair and makeup.
All right. Well, I was sort of didn't know what to pick for a little while, and I thought, well, I kind of liked how the mother in Evil Dead Rise looked. They did a good job with her hair and makeup. It was,
Hmm.
she looked horrifying, yet somehow seductive, yet gross, all in one, and that's not easy. I mean, a lot of it is the fact that the person that they cast brought out the makeup quite a bit, but I really liked how it looked. It looked really good. It kept in line sort of with the theme of makeup in the Evil Dead series. I will say, not a big fan of the film itself, just because I felt like it was trying to, a lot of sequels and remakes and things do this, where they just regurgitate what worked in the other films. So I
Hmm.
felt like ultimately what it was doing was just not doing anything original, but using what worked in the other films with a female lead. And it's like, come on, quit pandering. So I found it very disappointing because the trailer made it look so good and so original and like very worthy of Evil Dead, the franchise. But ultimately, I was disappointed. However, I still choose the mom for best hair and makeup in Evil Dead Rise.
I can definitely see that, and yeah, I feel the same with that. I didn't have high hopes going into it because I'm used to being disappointed with these remakes, like Texas Chainsaw remake that they just came out with a few years ago now, and there's another one too that I think the Hellraiser one I wanted to be so damn good, but after letting it sink in, I'm like, it was all right. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, and it wasn't really good, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wanted this to be, whatever it was. I said I didn't go with high expectations, but it wasn't enjoyable. I thought so, but it wasn't nothing to make my top 10 list or anything. I would give this like a 7.5 or something, maybe.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
Even
did
the
like the monster at the end though, like the big like combined body part thing or whatever it was. That was cool.
it was fine. Yeah, that goes in there with makeup. That was good. That was good. I liked her makeup, but it started out really cool too. Like the first 5 minutes, I was like, "This is gonna be the shit," and then after that, I'm like, "Oh, nah."
Yeah.
Felt like a third draft or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
take this all with a grain of salt from someone who hasn't had a film made yet.
Well, I'm sure some people enjoy it out there, I guess. So good for them. That's good. I want everybody to enjoy like stuff they enjoy, I guess. But wasn't really for me. But
Yeah.
all right, my best hair and makeup. This was a hard one because I'm thinking hair and makeup. I'm thinking like not really special effects makeup per se. I'm leaving that for like best visual effects. Kind of
Mhm.
leaving that for that category. So
Yeah.
I went with Infinity Pool. So
Okay.
just
Yeah, there
because
was
I,
some good hair in that.
what's that?
There was some good hair and makeup in that, definitely with Mia Goth. Yeah, she looked
Yeah.
beautiful. But,
Yep, that's like the main one to Mia Goth in this. I was like, oh, they did a good job with her, and like everybody overall, like was pretty well done. I think.
oh, definitely. The but boy, was her character annoying, right? I was like, by the second half
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
film, I was like, somebody kill her. I
Oh,
guess
that voice.
she could have been a good best villain, actually. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, she was definitely a good villain for sure, and
Yeah.
that horrible, horrible voice. And I think that's her real voice, if I'm not mistaken. She's English, so yeah, it was rough. She's got a rough accent though.
Just like that American voice from now on, right?
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. The new whatchamacallit is coming out pretty soon. I think this year, right? The conclusion or the third movie in the X series. Whatchamacallit.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see Pearl. I've only seen X. Is it Maxine?
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoy them. I thought Pearl was good. I like X better, but I thought Pearl was cool and different.
You don't really go to the theater to see movies, right? You're more
Not really, because the theaters suck around here, and every time
okay.
I went to a theater, as of recently, it's like people are loud, and it's just a bad
Yeah.
experience. So yeah, I
You
watch mostly at home.
I'm right there with you, but I do go mostly to see things in the theater when I can.
Hmm.
And um, for me, X was a very uncomfortable movie going experience.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was in the theater. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that might have been part of why I didn't really enjoy it. There's other reasons, but because of those reasons, I didn't end up watching Pearl yet. And actually, it doesn't appeal like the what it looks like to me. It doesn't really appeal to me. I do like Ty West, but I don't know about these movies.
Right. Well, what you're saying about seeing X in a movie theater kind of reminds me of watching Bram Stoker's Dracula with my parents in the movie theater. I'm fucking like 10 years old or something, and the werewolf sex scene comes in. I'm like, man, I'm fucking like, man, somebody kill me now.
You just slump in your chair. We all have those
Yeah.
moments. Like I still remember those moments as a kid, like more than many memories from childhood of being so embarrassed and wanting to disappear and hide during some unexpected sex scene during a movie.
Oh
Like,
man.
and they were even like looking back, they were kind of mild. Like Romancing the Stone had one,
Hmm.
or like almost anything like Trading Places. Holy cow! I was just like, this is like full on nudity. And I was like grown up by then too. It's still embarrassing.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to watch a movie with my parents now that's like rated R. Fuck that. No, I'm good. Like I don't want to watch any like nudity and shit. And fuck no.
Or when you're at home and you're like, should we turn it off? Or is that too weird to turn a movie off halfway? Or should I go to the bathroom? Or so I just hide behind a pillow. Like the last one, I was probably like, I don't know. I was an adult at my mom's house and I put on autofocus and we were both drawn into the movie because it's really good. But then it has a lot of like super uncomfortable orgy stuff and you're just like, and like, yeah, it's when your parents comment something weird and it makes it even weirder. Like I remember her being like, uh-oh, or something like that.
Yeah. Luckily, my dad would sometimes get up and fast forward to VCR because I think he felt just as uncomfortable as I did. Like, be me, my dad, and my mom watching a movie together, and that shit
Get up
pops up,
and
and
go.
yeah,
Go
the old
remotely.
fast forward button. Man,
So awkward.
traumatizing. Yeah, awkward
Definitely,
as fuck.
definitely. Yeah.
Ah, yeah. All right. Well, now we're up to the best effects.
Okay. So here we go. Now we're getting into some good stuff that I'm happy
Yes.
with my picks. When Evil Lurks.
Same with me.
It had
Nice.
the best effects for me. I really enjoyed the way they handled the gore. It looked realistic. It was good looking blood. That's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't know whether it's like color doing color afterwards or not paying attention to the color at the time, but blood can end up looking the wrong consistency and way too dark or way too bright. And this looked like real blood, so I appreciate that. Really good practical makeup and surprising scenes. Like it wasn't just about the fact that they did good practical makeup, but like um, some of the surprising things that happened, like the dog attacking
Oh God,
the
yeah.
girl.
Fuck.
I was just like, I feel like I shouldn't laugh, but I have to laugh. And like that blob dude, there was that guy who in the
Oh
beginning of the movie, his mother and like maybe, I don't know, his little brother or something was kind of like, I forgot the name of the guy, but they were like, he's stricken with the evil, and he basically is the first person that kind of brought it or got it into town somehow, and he's just in bed and you see him for the first time and he looks like a fucking bloater from The Last of Us. He's just gross as hell.
yeah.
And I had loved that. I was like, yes, this is what I want to see in 2023. Didn't mean to rhyme at all, by the way. But I want to still see that in my movies, not CG.
Exactly. That's 100% practical on how it should be done. Like when they went to move them, like with the sheet and everything, and it fucking busted. Like, oh man, like
Gnarly.
fuck, you can just feel that shit,
Yeah. So good. And like that is like a skill and a craft, and I appreciate that so much more than digital effects.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
I'm pro practical effects. I've mentioned that like a bunch of times in the podcast too. Like, CG has its place. Like if it's like supplementing the practical effects, that can work out. You know what I mean? But when you're like CGing out, like doing CGI blood and all this shit, like I cannot get down with that.
There's no point in that either. Like
No.
I know how to do some like fairly, I'm going to say easy practical effects. Like I've done blood spurts and things like that. And it's super fun. And you just cover up the camera and you clean up. Like it's not that big of a deal. It's so much better than putting it in post.
Do you do the chocolate syrup method for your blood? Because I know when I was in a science team a long time ago, when they were doing the fake blood on me and like I had to put blood in my mouth and stuff, it was made with like chocolate syrup.
No, although I think that looks good like in a black and white film because it has a pretty good viscosity, I would say. But I like sort of trained under two different makeup artists, and one I was like, do you make your own blood? Because I was making my own blood at that time with like corn syrup and mixing with food dye and blah blah. And she was like, no, I just buy this blood. And she showed me the brand. I think it was, I know Ben Nye makes one, but it was just kind of a big, I think it's called Bucket of Blood or something like that. Mayron makes a really good blood. There's blood capsules. I buy them and I don't mix them anymore because I never got a good blood mixing it. Oh, I know what it was. Cornstarch, red dye, and corn syrup. And then it was just a big hassle. It was sticky, messy, flies come around. I mean, not that I just think that the blood they make for this purpose of cinematic blood is totally fine. It looks great. You can sometimes add a little bit more black to it to get what you're talking about with that chocolate syrup thing. That's nice because you also don't have to worry about anybody like having a bad reaction to it. You know what I mean?
And it tastes good.
Right. It tastes good. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a quick little like blood story. It doesn't have anything to do with movies, but it deals with real blood. We're playing a black metal show years ago, and one of my friends' band came down, and they're like super black metal and stuff, and we're playing this small venue and everything, and they brought their own blood, and it was cow's blood.
Oh
and,
no!
They had it all over stage and everything. They're doused over them and stuff, and the person that was that had the venue and stuff, the owner of the venue didn't realize that real blood was going to be used. So the whole place smelled like, dead animal and stuff. And they couldn't come back to play that venue ever again. Yeah.
That's so disgusting.
Fun time. It was a good show, though. It was fucking a great show, but didn't smell very good.
Yeah. I was on one set where we went to the butchers and got intestines and stuff for like we were blowing up a body, kind of word to me, but that's what we did. I've used stuff like that before, just like food items, and it's gross. It's nasty. Never
Hmm.
again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It doesn't take long for that stuff to start to smell too, and like I said, attract flies and bugs, and yeah, it's horrible.
I did this short once where we filmed at a place here called Club Congress, and it was like zombie for president or something, which is kind of funny looking at, today's politics. Back then
Right.
was a long time ago. Trump was still in like, You're Fired, whatever that show is.
Yeah, the
Um,
reality show shit.
yeah, but it was a zombie president, and he was on stage like campaigning, with a translation of what he was saying. It was kind of funny. But as he talked, like he was just spewing all this gross stuff off of his body. And so I made it out of like stuff like clams and, just nasty stuff to make it look like real flesh. And
Hmm.
some little kid threw up, like an extra in the middle of the crowd threw up, and everybody just fucking spread out.
Hmm.
He threw up, and I was like, I don't think, I don't know. Part of that's a compliment. Another part is like, yeah, it stinks, and now it smells even worse.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hey.
I didn't clean it up.
Damn. All right. Well, my best effects is also When Evil Lurks. I mean,
Mhm.
it can't be beat, especially last year or year before that. I mean, it's one of the best effects movies ever, I think. And yeah, the thing that really got me with this one, besides like the big bloated demon guy, the first part of the film that started everything, there's a scene towards the end. It's kind of a fast scene, like one of the main characters or whatever is driving the truck or whatever, and he sees the mom on the side of the road holding the son. And for that quick second there, you can see that the mom is eating the son, like his head and shit. I
She's
was like,
eating
holy fuck.
she's eating the brains out of the skull like she's eating a fucking bag of popcorn. That was
Yeah. Yeah.
disturbing.
I'm like, it came out of nowhere too. It was like, oh, I did not see that coming. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, with that movie, they didn't mess around. Like kids
No.
didn't matter. There was no like saving anybody. It was just like this is legit evil.
Yeah.
So anything goes, and I appreciate that.
And the dog scene was absolutely
Uh,
brutal. Like in my head, I'm like, man, what if the dog attacked the kid? I'm like, they're not gonna do that. The dog's not gonna attack that kid. That's too much. And what happens? That dog fucking grabs that kid like a rag doll, and like, I'm like, fuck, man, that's brutal.
I don't know if you saw that promo picture, but it was like the little girl and the dog posing. It was so funny. It was one of the best promos I've ever seen for a film. She's just there in her little dress standing next to that dog. It's so cute. I was like, this is amazing because we all know like that scene if you've seen the movie. Um,
Hmm.
I love that. That dog is so funny looking. It's like a French Mastiff or something. It's like Hooch.
Yeah, yeah, definitely like that dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
But big enough to do damage. Like you can,
Oh yeah.
if you get on that dog's bad side, you can tell he can fuck you up.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
I mean, this guy, I mean, between this and like Terrified, which they all take place in the same universe supposedly, which is really cool.
Oh,
So
cool.
like, and the effects in Terrified were also like top notch, like
Wow.
practical greatness.
Nice.
Yeah. So hope the third film would take place in this universe and kind of expand on it, be like its own like MCU universe, you know what I mean? But it's all like fucking demonic horror that doesn't give a shit.
Totally.
Just total brutality. We need more of that in like film stuff. It's unpredictable,
Yeah, I agree.
dangerous.
It stands out, and that's what horror is all about rather than, backing off and, oh, the kid's fine, like that's another thing. At Last Voyage of Demeter, I was like, oh damn, he got the little boy, but not really. I'm
Yeah.
like, still alive? Ugh. Oh well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Doesn't compare to what happened with these kids in this movie. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So now we're up to best creature.
All right. So Best Creature is still going to be from When Evil Lurks, and it is that blob dude. And I just looked it up. It was the neighbor. His name was Uriel. He had
Hmm.
become rotten. So he was a grotesque, nasty, swollen blob of flesh and boils. That to me was definitely the best creature that I saw in 2023.
And I'm gonna agree with you on that because that's also my best creature of 2023.
Yes.
Is I got it written down as Demon Blob Man. So.
Uriel, the Demon Blob Man.
Yeah, that shit was like I said, fucked up, and yeah, nothing touched it last year, I think, and that fucking nailed it.
I will say I had some issues with some plot points, but big deal. Overall, one of the best from last year for sure. And I love like foreign horror stuff. They always have some interesting, different take that I'm interested in, seeing. It's just different than American horror, obviously, but they have like different folklore, and it's more. It has things that I'm not going to necessarily see in American films. So I do love trying to find foreign indie horror films, just foreign horror in general. But I haven't seen much out of Argentina, so that's pretty cool.
Say that one more time.
I have not seen many films from Argentina. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I'm sure they're out there, but yeah, I think with foreign films too, they take more of a risk, and we kind of stay pretty safe. I'm not saying a lot of stuff here in the States stays safe. I mean, fucking look at Terrifier. That's definitely not safe, and there's some other great ones too. But it just seems like you don't know what to expect when you're watching a foreign film, especially if it's like a Korean horror film or whatever. Like they go all out, and or Indonesian. Like I love that shit.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so. We are up to Best Actress. Best Actress.
Okay.
The hell did I put? Yeah, I gotta see what I picked on this. Okay. Yeah. All right, go for it.
All right, Best Actress. I have my main pick and a notable. So my main pick is Marin Ireland in the film Birth, Rebirth.
Forget about that. That was a good film.
It's a really good movie. It's a psychological horror film inspired by Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And so it follows a morgue technician who Marin Ireland plays. She's really interested in learning how to reanimate a body. And when she gets a young girl in her what do you call it, in her morgue, she wants to really learn how to bring this little girl back to life. So it's a creepy story, and it's a cool take on the Frankenstein theme. I love thinking about that theme, in all kinds of different ways, and how many stories can come out of that theme is amazing. But and just like the moral aspects of that idea, But so Birth Rebirth, I first knew about it because one of the producers is Mally Elfman, Danny Elfman's daughter. And posting about it, and I'm like, oh, what is this? And then I decided to rent it, and I was so like not pleasantly surprised. That's not the right term. I was so glad I rented it because it was totally worth the rental. I wish I'd seen it in a theater. I don't know if the Loft did play it here, but it's definitely something to check out if you haven't seen it. It's really well acted, and like. What I like about her performance is the character is very straightforward, scientific-minded. She's cold, but she has an almost maternal soft side that's in there. And I would imagine, like, I'm not an actor, but I would imagine that's hard to pull off without being too dry. And just like the look of this of Marin Ireland, her mannerisms, she was just perfectly cast for that part. So that's
I totally agree. That's a good one, and yeah, I dug that movie a lot. That was like on my honorable mention list of my top 10. But yeah. From her character and stuff on there, I bet she listens to a lot of post punk. She looks like she's probably into some darker music.
She would be a Magic Knives fan.
Yeah, I think so. She'd be your number one fan.
I have another mention, but after you tell your best actress, then come back to me, and I have another thing.
Okay, cool. This one was a little bit hard for me because nobody really stuck out. Actors or actresses, really. On my actor side, the one I picked is like pretty much the best actor one I saw this year so far. But for best actress, I picked Sophie Wilde from Talk to Me.
Oh,
She's kind of. I haven't seen her in nothing else but this, but I thought she fucking killed it.
yeah.
And it was a good movie. It gets a lot of hate, and I understand,
What?
because yeah, I've seen a lot of hate for it, but there's also a lot of people that love it as well. It's kind of like I would say maybe a 60-50 on the love hate thing with it. But
Whoever
I liked
is
it. I thought it was really good.
whoever hates it or thinks it's not good is an idiot. Like
Uh,
straight up. I don't know what that is all about. That's stupid.
yeah, I liked it, but I understand where people are coming from, not liking it and stuff. But
I
I dug it, and I thought Sophie Wilde was really good in it, and
who would not like it and what do they have to say? Like that's just stupid.
yeah.
I didn't see any hate on it. Definitely not a lot, definitely none. But that bothers me to think that anybody wouldn't like it who's into horror. If you're not into horror, that's something else. But if you are, what the hell do you think is good?
Right. I know a few people didn't care for it much, but I know they like really, really good horror, so they definitely get a pass on all that. But, people like what they like, I guess.
No, there's no excuse. What did they say they didn't like about it?
I can't really remember exactly what they didn't like about it, but mostly like I guess the youth culture, not really, because it's a really like teen type movie, especially a nowadays teen movie, and we're all old and
One
shit,
second.
and
No. Horror and teen movies go hand in hand. This has been since the 80s. If they don't like the it's a teen film and it's horror, that's just ridiculous. Like, do they not like Halloween? Like, do they not like Nightmare on Elm Street? Do they not like Night of the Comet? Like, what the fuck? That makes zero
right.
sense. It just sounds like they're dumb old curmudgeons that can't stand to see people in a film. That's just strange. Like, I think that you've got to have kind of a low IQ to not enjoy a film based on it being teenagers. Like, it's not a teenage movie. It's not like Euphoria or something. So, like you said that you kind of could understand hate for it. What is it that you understand? Is it based on that or something else?
I guess kind of on that. I mean,
Makes no sense.
yeah, it doesn't make much sense. So I just understand like different opinions on stuff. Really, is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Like
That's
I
pretty
get it. If you don't like, you don't like it. I like it. There's a lot of
quality.
shit that I like that people fucking hate.
If
So
people don't like something I think is excellent, I get mad.
hey, that's like if somebody's talking shit about Mandy, then I'm like, all right, now hold on a second. Now, like, that's something I strongly believe in.
I
I
have
will
known
fight
people
for.
that don't like Mandy. It is a very stylistic film. Like, if you don't like it, maybe because you don't like things that are extra stylized, but I
Hmm.
don't understand what Talk to Me. So, but we'll get to that. I just find that I just have not heard until you said just now that there was a lot of hate.
Yeah.
But I stand firmly behind it being amazing. And the issue with teens makes no sense to me if you like horror films.
Yeah.
This is now, well, at that time, 2022, 2023. If you don't understand that, maybe they had it. You know what? Maybe they had an issue with the like non-binary character in there.
I'm
Um,
not sure.
because I know it was banned in Kuwait because they're like, this is not part of our morals.
Oh
If a
wow.
person is having a problem with a character being non-binary, then they're a fucking asshole, So their
Right.
opinions don't matter to me. Speaking of which, Brandon, I do want to add a category going
Go
on our
for it.
best actress
So,
because
say that again. What
going
was that?
on best actress
Okay.
because there was another person that I thought was fantastic, and then when I looked them up, they are a non-binary actor. So I couldn't put them in actor or actress. So maybe moving forward, we'll do non-binary actor. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah.
Um, I mean, it just depends, right?
Hmm.
But this person's name is Bobby Salvor Menwez. I think I'm pronouncing it fine. In the film My Animal, which I don't know if you've seen it, but I would recommend you see it because it is a werewolf movie.
I've heard
Um,
about that one. I don't think I've seen it. No.
okay, cool. Yeah, it follows well, in this movie, this actor plays a young woman who's forced by her parents to keep her her lycanthropy a secret. And she falls in love with a another woman, a figure skater, a young woman. So whoever doesn't like Talk to Me may not like this one because it's a bunch of young people again. When the movie starts, the credits come up, and one of the people listed as an actor was Scott Thompson, and I thought it was funny because I'm like, oh, Scott Thompson, like from Kids in the Hall, and it was Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall. He
Oh
actually
shit.
plays the figure skater's dad, and it's a little silly. Like I don't know why he's in it. Like you can't help but think he's it's like a comedic actor and it's going to be funny, but it's not really meant to be. So when you see him in the movie a few times, it's just kind of like takes you out. Like, what is going on with Scott Thompson being here?
Hmm.
It's kind of silly, but I guess if I were friends with Scott Thompson, I'd put him in everything I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, this actor, Bobby, is so like intense and has a really cool looking like face. And there's a scene where they cut off all their hair in front of a mirror, like legit cut it off, and
Hmm.
seems like someone willing to take risks and is very like she kind of or they kind of remind me actually of Marin Ireland in Birth Rebirth, because the characters also has a very sort of some kind of stoic presence with a lot going on underneath. And
Hmm.
they do a really good job of that. Sorry, I am old and have a hard time with this too. I'm keeping my pronouns in check. But yeah, I really loved their performance in My Animal, and you should totally check it out. It doesn't have a whole lot of effects, but this is the one where I said they have a great DP,
Hmm.
and I think you're gonna like the score too. The score is very kind of Cliff Martinez, Nicholas Winding Refn, sort of that electronic music. It
Oh,
reminded me
nice.
of your project a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Okay, cool. That's going on my list. You said werewolves, and then you said electronic music soundtrack. That's all me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, my animal. You
My
can,
animal.
yeah.
All right, now we're up to the best actor.
All right. I wonder if we chose the same guy.
Possibly. Possibly.
His name is Ezekiel Rodriguez.
No, that's not
No.
what I chose.
So he was the lead in When Evil Lurks. I thought he was great. Like he was so intense and like frenetic and fun to watch, and I just thought he was awesome. And it's interesting to like kind of look at his career because he's done like some Disney stuff that he's more known for.
Hmm.
In Argentina, and had no idea. So it shows he has quite a range. So yeah, those are my reasons for best actor. Also, not a lot to pick from, but he stood out.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I mean, solid,
Yeah.
very solid. I kind of went in a different direction just because I thought this actor did a really, really good job in this movie, and I like this movie a lot. I don't know what you think of it, but it
Infinity.
is no, it's not Infinity Pool. No, my best actor is Joaquin Phoenix
Ah,
for Beau is Afraid.
good pick. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm a fan of Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's always pretty much awesome and whenever he plays in. Like he has his own
Yeah.
style and he's not your normal like leading man type. You know what I mean? Like he does his own thing and yeah,
Maybe
he
not
like killed it
great,
in this. What's that?
maybe not great for Napoleon.
Oh, I didn't see Napoleon. I'm not gonna see Napoleon. Doesn't look very good.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, that's a really good pick. I thought about that too, but I don't know. When Evil Lurks kind of stood out a bit more. Plus, I was a little on the fence with including Beau is Not Afraid because I know Ari Aster is trying to move away from horror, so I wasn't sure if he considered it horror, but it
it,
definitely is, right? It's kind of like
Yeah, it's
brings.
hard. Yeah, it's hard. Like, it's hard psychological fucking weirdness, man. Like, even on IMDb, it's in the
Yeah.
horror category because I'm sure this would be a movie people fight me over. Oh, that's not a horror movie. And like, well, there's a mutated giant penis monster in this. So I mean, if that's not horrifying, dude, I don't know what the fuck is.
I won't fight you on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and just the whole like nightmare feel of this whole movie. Like you don't know if this is really taking place in the real world or is it all in his head? You know what I mean? Like it's total nightmare fuel.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, and he was great. So that is a good pick. I almost chose Nicolas Cage from Dream Scenario as well, but I just leaned a little bit more into horror, 100% horror. These are
Right.
psychological, kind of interesting horrors, but yeah, it counts.
Yep. Had somebody on one of the social media things, and I consider this to be a sci-fi horror movie because it has giant bugs in there on different planets, and people are trying to tell me, oh, it's not harm. So a giant fucking bug. I'm talking about Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
People are telling me that's not a horror movie. It's a satire. Yes, it is a satire movie. It's also a sci-fi movie. It's also sci-fi horror. There's giant fucking bugs ripping people apart. I mean, how horrific is that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the movie can be a lot of different genres in one, so maybe they just don't want to categorize it in multiple categories, but there's nothing wrong with that.
It was on, I think it was on fucking TikTok, and TikTok's wild. I'm on TikTok just for the podcast to, throw videos out, and these people are going nuts. It's fucking like, who wrote this? Who posted this video saying this is horror? This ain't horror. This is a sci-fi movie. I'm
Oh,
like, I'm like, this is a sci-fi horror movie. I didn't argue with them. I let them argue amongst themselves because people were like fighting back and forth. I
uh,
was like, this is a horror movie. I even confirmed that with a couple friends of mine. I'm like, hey, you
yeah.
consider Starship Troopers like a horror sci-fi? Like, oh, totally, giant bugs. I'm like, yeah, totally. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, you know, that's the problem with social media is the worst of the worst. Like I find threads horrible.
Oh
Um,
yeah, Thread sucks.
well, I had to delete that app, because I'm like, do I want to argue all day? Not really. No, no. This is worse than Twitter.
hmm
But then I put my Instagram private. I just got tired of like arguing because I am obviously, I don't know if you know this about me, strongly opinionated.
Just a little bit, yeah.
And I get really passionate about things, but then I do change my mind about things all the time too. So I'm like, I don't really feel like making an ass of myself 24/7 on
hmm
threads or social media. So I try to like make it so I have less and less opinions being fed to me.
Right.
Yeah, I curate my information.
That's good. I try to do that too when it comes to like stuff I follow and things I like. And I'm not there to argue with people. I don't even post like big giant like opinions about certain things. I like, oh, this movie's good, or I give a positive review about a movie. I don't like
Yeah.
if somebody posts some dumb shit on Twitter, I don't argue back with them. Like I don't care. I'm just promoting shit and doing what I do. I don't give a fuck about arguing, but it can be really toxic on those things, especially Twitter and threads and all, man. People go crazy. TikTok.
And when you're doing like reviews and you're in the public eye, and you have people who are reading your things, like I had a website once where I was doing that. But one thing is it's good to be a bit more even keeled because sometimes, I'll say something about I don't know, just a particular film or an image from something and something really minor, a little compliment. And then if someone says something shitty, but I'm friends with somebody involved with that project, then I
hmm
have to delete that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know who knows who and who's listening and who's going to read what. And I've learned that lesson,
Yeah.
still going to give my opinions for the most part. I don't think that people involved are going to hear it as much, but if they do, I'll feel bad in a lot of cases. Now, some things I would still say straight to someone's face, like, sorry, I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not very often do I want people to hear my negative opinions who are directly involved with something.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that. There's enough negativity out there, and if you do feel negative about something, just share it amongst your close friends and don't like blast it out there on social media.
Exactly. Sometimes I do that, but then I'll delete it, or I just put it up for like a few hours and vent. And then I'm like, I'm going to take that down now.
See, that's good. You think about it, I'm like, all right, yeah, for the better, I'm gonna take it down. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So it'll be tough when we come up to our most hated, but I'll figure out a diplomatic way to say it.
Gotcha. So now we're up to you did your best actor. So we're up to best screenplay.
Best screenplay to me was Talk to Me. So it was written by Danny Filippo and Bill Hinsman, and it's based on a concept by Daley Pearson. The story has such a cool combination of like, it reminded me of that creepy spiritualist movement in the 20s that involved like seances and ectoplasm, talking to the dead, and they would like see they'd have like a substance like plaster and have like the dead put their hands through it, and then they could make a plaster cast out of the dead's hands. And like I saw this gallery with a bunch of these different people's hands that were supposedly dead people that came through during like seances, and that's what it reminded me of. Like, I haven't dug really into like what the concept was and where they got the idea from. That's what it reminded me of, is
Mm-hmm.
that hand in plaster that was like, but it also combined that teenage Ouija board story, which I love, so it had like these cool elements combined together, and then like a culture that I'm not super familiar with, film in Australia. So I just loved also just like the pacing of the story, and how it played out and how creepy it was. So I thought it was a really unique, cool story that combined old and new.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, on a side note, the directors of that movie were on the on postmortem last year, I believe, because
Oh,
Mick
cool.
was a big fan of this film. Yeah, they were on there. Super young dudes. I'm thinking early 20s.
Yeah, a friend of mine was telling me about them, and they were also on the Joe Rogan podcast maybe a month or two ago. I
Oh,
meant to
didn't
watch it
know that.
before this, but I didn't get to watch it yet. It's in my queue.
Yeah, I've been listening to Joe Rogan a long time. I used to listen to him back in the day. He gets a little preachy and stuff, man. And his podcast episodes like fucking 4 hours long. I'm like, I can't listen to a 4 hour podcast, man. There's other podcasts I follow, like who the hell's got 4 hours? Like, come on, dude.
I do. I love long format podcasts. Like if something's under an hour, I'm kind of like, eh. I like to do my workouts and listen to a long podcast.
Uh,
But I definitely won't listen to that one. I don't really listen to Joe Rogan that much unless he has a really good guest. So I will listen to that one with those two on it. I'm really curious to hear more about their work and their backstory. And I'm excited about the sequel too. It should be a sequel.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Supposed to be a sequel and all that's set to go and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't work out the podcast. I have to have like something that makes me want to throw weights through a wall. So it's got to be like heavy metal or black metal, death metal, whatever. But something heavy. I can't listen to somebody talk or like listen to an audiobook while I work out, because then I'm gonna get kind of lost in the conversation or lost in the narration, and yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah.
not good.
If you're doing cardio though, because that's mainly why
Oh yeah, cardio. Yes, you could do that. Yeah.
I'm blown out. And you're like, oh shit, an hour went by and I'm still on my elliptical. Yeah.
Yeah, that is good for cardio. But like I do like 90% of what I do is weightlifting, 10% cardio with that. I've been trying to do more cardio. I do when I work out though, like I don't take long breaks in between sets and stuff. So I'm just constantly like, hammering out these workouts pretty fast. So there is some cardio involved in that a little bit. But yeah, that's all metal and stuff. And then when I am doing cardio on the bike or whatever, I'll listen to an audiobook or a podcast.
It's so nice to talk to other people who are movie fans, but also into fitness. Like I have other friends like this too. And, like sharing fitness apps like we do, or just talking about our workouts that we've tried out. Like it's kind of unusual because usually it's like couch potatoes, that are into horror sci-fi. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, and we're just people in general who aren't into like working out. Like it's hard to like have a conversation with anybody that works out like that's in my immediate area, like
Oh yeah.
coworkers and stuff. None of those guys do none of that shit. Like the stuff I talk about, this goes one ear out there. They don't give a fuck, and I understand it's boring stuff if you don't like lift weights or work out. But like my good friends and stuff, like we all have like a common thing. We all work out. We all like horror movies and stuff, and we try to do positive, cool things. So it
Yeah.
works
And that's
out.
being like conscientious of these things gives you the energy to then be creative.
Dude, I get some of my best ideas for like music stuff or just like, oh, I'm gonna try to get this guest on the show when I'm working out. Like,
Yeah,
especially at that midway through a hard workout, you're like the clarity that you get from that is fucking
totally.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, getting some blood flowing through the brain, get it working, the right nutrients and everything. You can, like, it's the only time I really feel like I can write, is when I've taken care of that balance.
Yeah, and this is my drug. I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, I do nothing like that. I'm boring
Yeah,
as fuck, but I like to work out. This is what I do. And I like
yeah,
to work out and fucking watch movies and shit. But So this is
So
my drug, I guess you would say, which sounds pretty like cliche or whatever, but
great.
this is what I do to fucking get my dopamine levels up, man, you know?
Yeah. My friends and I were talking about this yesterday where I was saying like, yeah, it's so important to fuel the body to have like creative energy. But then we were like, well, what about like Stephen King? Like how is he so prolific, but he's not working out? I guess maybe he takes walks. I don't know.
Yeah, he does his walks, and back in the 80s and 70s, it was cocaine, but, he gave that up. Dude,
Yeah.
he even admitted to that, Dark Tower series was all written on cocaine.
Yeah.
But
But
I
yeah,
don't know how he does it. I really don't. Like, and the stuff he's coming up with is still fucking good, you know?
totally. Yeah. I don't get it. So I guess I can't say it's for everybody working out, but
No, definitely not. But I think, for the ones that do it, I think it's a really awesome health benefit and like a mental thing, mental health benefit, you know?
right. I'll just like click with people too. Like, and I've posted like my smoothie recipes, and like anybody that messaged me about it, I was like, yeah, dude, chia seeds, flax, and we were just like going on about it.
Yeah, I get made fun of for my lunches when I'm at work sometimes, because I usually eat like a chicken breast and fucking like a little bit of rice or some salad with it. And like, oh, you're eating rabbit food. I'm like, this is because you have a giant belly or whatever, Like, I'm eating this for a reason, dude. It tastes okay, but it's more for like health benefits.
Yeah, like maybe I want to be not in the 80% of overweight Americans.
Exactly. Like I don't. There's a certain way I like to present myself, and it helps out everything mentally, and all the shit connects together.
Yeah, definitely. There's
Yeah.
not that many overweight people in Australia.
No, there ain't. One of my favorite bands is from Australia, the band called Werewolves, and yeah,
Oh
those
yeah.
guys are all like fit and fucking metal machines over there. So
Wow. I really like Australians and New Zealanders. There's just something fun and lively about them.
I agree with that. All the like I said, Australian bands and friends I know that are in Australian bands or just Australian people are fucking cool as hell. So
Oh yeah. I'd love to go down there sometime, but that flight is like, can we figure some other way out?
yeah, maybe in the future when we're able to like teleport places. Yeah,
Fine by
another.
me.
Yeah. All right, so my best screenplay is also going to be Beau is Afraid. B and I just talked about it with Joaquin Phoenix, but yeah, Beau is Afraid is yeah, fucking well written, and this is something is different, like especially compared to everything else that came out last year. It
Did
has
Ari
its own
Aster,
like what's that?
did Ari Aster write that?
He did. Ari Aster did write this. Yep,
It's very Charlie Kaufman in a way, isn't it?
it is. I love the fucking the weird aspects of it. Like I was saying before, the whole nightmare dream feel to it and stuff. I really dig that, and I don't know, just doing something a bit different. It's not your standard movie in general. It's not like it's different. I liked it.
Yeah. Can you imagine reading that screenplay? It's just so like intricate. There's so many twists and turns. Like I can't imagine writing something like that. It's quite a feat.
And it's almost written like a stage play almost. And towards the end of that movie, they have like a whole fucking stage play like scene that lasts for like I don't know 40 minutes. It seems
Yeah,
like anyways, but the whole
right.
thing is kind of written that way, almost like scene by scene, like you can see this taking place on a stage.
Yeah. It's so cool seeing the progress of his career, like to where he's at the point now where he's just like, this is what I want to do and I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
not like blocked in. I think his work is just getting better and better.
Yeah, he's not out there making like a Godzilla movie or a King Kong movie. He's doing his own shit, and I appreciate that.
Godzilla -1 was good.
Oh, I haven't seen the new one now. I heard it's really
It's
good. I have not seen
really
that.
good. I mean, I know what you're saying though, because there's, all the other Godzillas have been pretty awful, but Godzilla
Yeah.
-1 is like a good story, good writing, badass Godzilla creature, all of it. It's great. So
Yeah, I've heard nothing but positive things. And on the
yeah.
subject of Godzilla, there's an Apple TV show with Kurt Russell, his son. There's some other really good cast members. I thought it was gonna be fucking great. I saw the previews. Oh man, it looks so cool. Yeah, the
Right.
first episode was all right, but like, where's the fucking monsters at, man? I'm like almost to the very end, you see a monster like maybe twice. Godzilla peeks his head out like twice. I'm like, what the fuck?
It is bad. It is really bad.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
makes me totally like I totally thought like I'm like, ooh, Kurt and Wyatt. Hello. This is gonna be amazing. But
yeah,
yeah, Monarch. Oh, I
yeah,
honestly got through 1.5 and I was like, I'm out. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad because I do love the Russells. Like I love them. And normally
yeah.
I was like all in, but I'm like, oh, how cool would it be to see them in like a revival of one of the Carpenter films?
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah,
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, I'm totally down with that.
Yeah, I think Wyatt Russell's amazing. So I think he was in Night Swim, but I have not watched Night Swim yet. I think
Oh,
it's one of the. I think that's like the only horror film this year that I think has been released in theaters. It's either the only one I've seen or maybe it is the only one out there, but it doesn't look very good.
no, it doesn't look interesting at all. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm good. Yeah.
yeah, he stars in it. So
He was in an early season of Black Mirror. There was an
yeah,
episode where it was a VR episode, so that kind of hit me hard because I love virtual reality, and that one
that was a
totally
good one.
freaked me out. Yeah, that was a really good one because he got fucking stuck in there and it melted his mind. I'm like, that's
Yeah,
fucking scary, you know?
I remember watching that one and I was like, man, that guy looks so much like a young Kurt Russell. I had no idea.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh shit, because it's his son. Yeah, that's when I first saw him in anything, I think.
he's a good actor. I think he's got a bright future. He is gonna be the next. He's gonna take over his dad's mantle, pretty much, you know?
Yeah. Then he's in what the that Captain America series.
Oh, with the Falcon and the Captain America. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Although he looks weird in that mask, so
He does. Yeah, he looks like
fun.
he looks like the old man from the movie Up. That fucking that's what he looks like to me.
Oh no. That's
Yeah.
so funny. Like, because he's a very handsome guy, but when he puts on that mask, it just ruins his face.
Yeah, he looks like that and a cross between like a character from Bob's Burgers. Like he's got that look to him.
I guess it takes like his most unusual features and enhances them, and it's not a good thing. Like, yeah,
Right.
like
Yeah,
I
really
don't
like
like sunglasses. No.
yeah. Oh,
That's
all
great.
right. So we're on to our last category, official category anyways, and that's gonna be best picture.
Woo! I wonder if it'll be the same one.
I'm thinking so.
Well, this will be interesting, but it was Talk to Me.
Oh, yeah, not the same one for me, so
No? Okay.
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about Talk to Me. So I wanted to say a few more things. What was it? Did you know, this is interesting. It was A24's highest grossing horror film ever,
Oh wow, didn't know that.
above Hereditary. And
That's crazy.
A24's second highest grossing film overall of any genre.
Wow.
So it has a lot of lovers, and all the haters are in their own category of weirdos. Yeah, so I wanted to note this too. The film premiered at the 2023 Sundance Film Festival. And after the premiere, it had a bidding war with Universal Pictures and several others, but A24 won the rights to distribute the film. Like,
Mhm.
imagine your film at the Sundance Film Festival and all this bidding war is going on. That would be so cool. So
Yeah.
clearly people in the know and who have good taste are fans of this film. But yeah, I just loved it. It had great pacing, great acting, unique story, and just a truly fun theater experience, which is so important to me. Like when I saw the previews, I was like, oh yeah, that looks cool, that looks good. But you never know. And I hadn't really been paying attention to like any reviews, and I do not like reading reviews really anyway. And
Right.
it wasn't showing as a trailer a bunch of times. I'd only seen the trailer once or twice. So when I went and saw it, I went in pretty clean, which is how I like to go into most movies. Like the least I know is better probably for me. And just from the get-go, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was gory but with minimal effects. it was creepy, and like one of the only films in the past decade I can think of that truly made me feel scared in the theater, which is amazing. So yeah, that's why it's best picture for me. And it's probably going to be one of my best pictures moving forward. Like, not even looking at 2023 as being a year that didn't have that many good horror films. This is just up there. This is just next level to me. So that's where I'm at. What was yours?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure we can both agree on this film too. My best picture was When Evil Lurks.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, yeah. To me, that is my number one movie of 2023. Just because it's everything I like in horror. It's not afraid to fucking go out there and just scare you and fucking no
Yeah.
rules. There's no like it's not going by any kind of guidelines where this ain't supposed to happen. No, it's like it's doing whatever it wants to do and it's brutal. Special effects are great. Like, yeah, everything about it this is kind of horror. I like dangerous horror movies, and this is pretty fucking dangerous.
Yeah, I love that too. I would say I kind of missed seeing a really well-made supernatural film. And for me, I was craving supernatural. So that might have been why it beat it out for me, would Talk to Me. Plus, like I was saying, it might have been a language barrier a little bit, but a couple times where I was just having problems with some of the plot points in When Evil Lurks, where I was like, wait, what? Why would you do that? But you never know. Sometimes you'll watch a film, but you don't understand certain things due to either how they translated it or the a cultural thing.
Right.
So might be some of that for me. But that's why Talk to Me beat it out. I had been on this kick of wanting to see something like The Others in a way, and this kind of fit that craving for me.
Yeah, and like Evil Lurks is totally up my alley when it comes to like I'm a big fan of like demonic, cult horror. I love that shit. That's my thing. I do like supernatural stuff too when it's done well, but I'm more attracted to the darker side, like demonic, like
Yeah.
fuckery and stuff like that. So this one really got me. And what was I gonna say? A good thing to follow up with this. It's not connected in any way, but I don't know if you ever watch this show, but on HBO, 30 Coin. Do you watch that?
I've wasn't it made like a few years ago?
It's on season 3 right now. New season just came
Oh,
out,
oh, no
so
wonder.
it's on its. Yeah.
I watched the first season, but I didn't realize there was two more because one
Yes.
of my friends mentioned it and was like, "Oh, did you watch 30 Coins?" I'm like, "Yeah, a long time ago." But then I saw there was like a poster for it up on Max again, and I was like, "What's going on?" I didn't even realize that there was two more seasons. But yeah, that's a good show.
I could totally see almost like those two universes colliding almost because this is also a Spanish horror film and it also deals with really like dark subject matter. Even though 30 Coin has a lot of humor thrown in there,
Mhm.
and We've Dwells that had no humor for the most
Yeah,
part. There's some funny moments that we would think were funny, but horrify most people.
there
But
was some
yeah,
purposely funny moments in When Evil Lurks. Probably more so if you're Argentinian and understand some of the language better.
yeah,
Definitely
definitely.
translate exactly the same. But it's
Hmm.
interesting also 30 Coins has Paul Giamatti, so it's
Yep,
Spanish.
yep. On the new season, yeah, and he's awesome as fuck, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good show. I had no idea why my friend was mentioning it again. I was like, what? Because it's been a while. When the first one came out, 2020. Yeah. So,
Hmm.
well, you know what? I need to go back and watch from the beginning, really. But that's a good call out.
And it's you don't see you just don't hear a lot about it, and I don't know why. Like I
Yeah.
first heard about it from I think it was Elric Kane. I hear a lot of shit from Elric Kane on their podcast, Colors of the Dark podcast. Him and Rebecca McKendry and stuff. They always got really good fucking recommendations, and I think that's where I first heard about it. And my friend Ralph Schmidt's a big fan of it. And between those two, I'm like, all right, I'm checking this out, and I'm like, oh, this is way up my alley.
Well, my friend Nick said his dad said it's good. His dad actually has a past, not a past. He was in law enforcement for a while, so I bet he knows like some of the authentic sides to the story when it comes to that.
Hmm.
Because isn't there some shit with, I don't know.
There is some law enforcement stuff in the first season, and it kind of strays away from that.
Oh, okay. I think he recognized some of that stuff as being well written. So, Yeah, I need to go back and watch it again. Ooh, you know what else? Sunday. This falls into horror, I
True
think.
Detective.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I'm
I
hoping
hope.
so. Like the cast is good. They got
Yeah.
Issa Lopez directing, and she's fucking awesome. So I'm really hoping this is good.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Um, I was going to say also about When Evil Lurks. I also like that they did a really good job of building that world without giving a whole lot of explanation. It was just like, here you are, this is how it goes. Cool, cool. You know what I mean? Like they set it
Yeah,
up really well. And they don't 100% explain it, but you get it. You're just like, ooh, okay. It was a different take on like an evil, like it kind of had that feel of like a zombie series a little bit, right? But it
yeah,
was
sort of. Yeah,
that. It wasn't zombies, it was just like straight up evil. And it's like a curse that goes and rolls out. And I'd never seen anything like that, really, you know? Well, I guess the Evil
yeah.
Dead, that comes still from a source. This didn't really explain the source. It was just like, here's something that's been happening in this world to the point where they're saying like cities are taken over by it. So I thought that was really cool. It's something I'd never seen done before.
Yeah, you're just kind of thrown in there. Like, and I like that. Like, this world's already built. Like, here you
Right.
are, and this is what's taking place right now. Like, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And you're just like, okay, cool. I'm in on the ride on this. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
guess
there's
you know what I'm thinking of that I had an issue with. It probably wasn't plot points. It was more so characters' reactions. Because if
yeah,
I were in that world and then like, ex-husband comes over and says, "Yo, we need to leave right now," and he's like dead serious, I wouldn't have argued like that because the wife and the husband were like, "Oh, stop, you're just being a jerk." I was like, I don't know. I think I would like take his word for it and be like, yeah, let's just play it safe because we have two little kids.
yeah, yeah. There were some dumb decisions made, but I
Yeah.
think it added to the plot really well. A lot of dumb decisions. No heroes in this, really.
Here's
Like there's no heroes.
That's true. Here's another
Yeah,
one. Here's another one. I like that idea of no heroes though. But when they're at the kind of church and you know that the kids are evil to the point where the guy's like beating the shit out of that little girl.
hmm,
You know the kids are not right. They're not evil. They're not little kids anymore. You can't trust them. He knows that. Audience knows that. So then when the little girl who he just like beat the shit out of is like, go get the axe, dude.
yeah,
The last thing the guy should have done was be like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get that axe,
yeah. Bad decision.
Maybe a couple, a friend of mine was like, maybe it's because he also was kind of infected, but they didn't show it that way to me. So I
Right.
was confused by his decision that basically opened up it to everywhere else, like now you just made the worst decision of your life, but why?
Yeah. You totally fucked up, man. Like, yeah. But that opens up a third movie, which I'm pretty sure is coming in that same universe. So that'd be cool.
And like maybe they'll explain like why he's so stupid.
Yeah. I'm hoping too in the next movie there's more like crazy ass like demonic creatures, like different types of them, you know what I mean? Like something that's fully fucking like because at the very end they show like the evolution of the creatures sort of kind of, but maybe it's like a bigger bad at the
that
end of all this.
that would be really, really cool because you
Yeah.
could, oh man, there's just so many cool possibilities with that story.
Yeah.
That,
I'm totally down with that.
yeah, I'm stoked.
All right, so now we go into our little like bonus categories here, and
Yeah.
I wanted to start it off before we get to worst picture. I wanted to start off with our weirdest picture
Or
of
weirdest?
yeah
Okay.
2023.
So mine was the Pope's Exorcist.
Oh yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah, he's, big boy Russell Crowe cast in this movie is this, Italian dude, and he's riding this tiny ass moped from the Vatican to Spain. And I couldn't help but like laugh at that, It's just like, this is what is going on? Like,
Mhm.
And like, it's an okay movie. Like, I wouldn't say it's bad. I ended
Right.
up kind of liking it for some reason.
It was
But
fun, it was like brainless
yeah,
fun, like yeah,
it was just
mindless
sort
fun.
of fun. But it's weird because it is Russell Crowe and like I wasn't expecting him playing this character and it was just kind of funny. It was like you just kind of sit there and chuckle a bunch of times.
Hmm.
I did like the kind of like what was who was the main demon at the end? Like everyone knows this demon.
Shit, I can't remember.
I know. It's like one of the coolest demons. His name starts with an A.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, neat. I know who that is, what was his name? Asmodeus.
Asmodeus. You know what? That name Asmodeus. I started writing a short like novella a long time ago, and that was the demon I used in that. So I should fucking know the name because when he said it in this, I was like, oh shit, Asmodeus. I was writing about that.
Yeah, it's a badass name. It's like lust demon, and it was cool, because that like they didn't like take it back to Satan. It was like a demon, and they went all in on that, and it was just like, oh, cool, okay, it's Asmodeus. That's badass. I kind of wish there was more of that, but in the end, it was just like you said, fun, enjoyable to me, like a good popcorn movie.
Yeah.
And weird because of just this Russell Crowe as this character. Like to me, that was such strange casting, and it was not like as serious as I thought it was going to be at all. It was more in a way kind of, I don't think the word is goofy, but just kind of, it was just weird. Weird is the word.
Yeah, definitely weird. Yeah.
Yeah. What was your weirdest?
My weirdest, and it's also a movie I thought was really cool. That was Dark Harvest.
Oh, I heard about that one, but I didn't watch it.
This is a really good one to watch during Halloween or during October, anyways. Yeah, it's it involves like a town like I think it's back in the 50s or whatever, and these kids like every Halloween they have to all like gather up together, and whoever kills this thing called Sawtooth Jack, which is like this big scarecrow slash jack-o'-lantern looking thing that tries to, if it gets to the church before midnight or before sunrise or at sunrise, like the whole town's fucked, so the kids have to try to kill it. And that means the next year they get like good crops and all that shit, and the kid that kills them gets a brand new car, a Corvette, and some money and all this shit. But it's just so weird because the creature itself is stuffed with candy. They never say like how he comes to life or anything like that. They're just like, you see a dude making him, and you find out that he's made from the so-called winners of the, every year to do this, and whatever kid wins, he becomes Sawtooth Jack, and they never explain none of it. So weird.
So I don't understand, like, he's not really a creature but a dude, but he's also stuffed with candy, or no?
No, he's a creature. He's some type of supernatural, because they kill the kid. They do some type of like ritual that they don't really show, like how they bring the kid back, but they put a pumpkin on his head after they carve it. They throw the pumpkin on his head and they throw him up on a scarecrow thing. He comes back to life. His limbs start like they're elongated now, so he's like 8 feet tall. He kind of looks like a pumpkin head.
So who is this guy in the trailer and on the poster who's just like kind of a handsome dude in a suit with a mask on?
That's just see, all the kids wear masks. Like they all have a mask on during their hunt when they go hunt them down. So that's just a random kid. Shit, and it's just weird. And they're violent as fuck. Like the kids are killing each other. Like there's no holds barred on this night. Like the kids are just fucking everybody up. The parents are hiding and stuff. And then you got this giant jack-o'-lantern thing that spits out fire. I forgot about that. It also blows fire out and all this shit. So it is weird, but it's really good.
I'm sold. I am actually going to watch it maybe tonight. But you know what? I just looked up the director because it says like from acclaimed horror director. I'm like, what? And I look him up. David Slade. This guy's done some awesome stuff. Bark Scenes, which is a series I love starring Zahn McClarnon. It's like a Canadian series set in like kind of pioneer days. It's so good. So he directed a couple episodes of that. He directed Bandersnatch on Black Mirror. That's awesome.
Yep. American Gods, which I like the first 2 seasons, maybe the first season of that.
Yeah. Nightmare Cinema, Hard Candy, freaking Hannibal, this series, 5 episodes, one of the best shows that no one ever watched on NBC.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, 10 out of 10 show.
Of Breaking Bad, 30 Days of Night. Like, this is some good shit. It's weird, he's not like sexy name that's out there like an Ari Aster who's like, oh, next up and coming guy. This is a guy that's been around but should have a There's just some good shit. So that's cool. I'm gonna check it out. I see that it's like a 5.5 on IMDb, but
Yeah, I don't go by those ratings on IMDb. They're totally off.
yeah, I don't know if you did this, but on IMDb, I went to the top rated, ranked top to bottom of horror films 2023. I hadn't heard of like the entire first page.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I
you
didn't
guys
even look at that.
that are rating these. That's it.
Yeah.
All the good ones were way down in the 7s.
There's movies I consider like 9s and 10s that are rated like 4.7 on IMDb. I use this website just for all my information because it's got the cool facts page and all that shit. Like you can really like learn some shit about some of these movies. But when it comes to ratings, I never really go by that.
Good call. Yeah.
So check that out. Like, and it's even filmed really dark and like it's almost filmed like the way like 30 Days a Night was. That really like dark filter on everything and the kind of bluish filter and shit. Like it looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks great. Looks
Yeah,
like
it's
a
a
good
good one.
cast.
What's that?
Like a good cast.
Yeah,
Well,
great cast.
except for Jeremy Davies. No, I'm just kidding. How is Jeremy Davies in that? He always kind of plays the same dude.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. How is he in it?
He's good. He's good. He's good at what he's doing in this one. He's kind of a dick, but he's good at what he does in this. But yeah, he kind of plays the same guy in every fucking thing. So
I think that's why we don't, see him in kind of things that are a little bit more excelled. Like he's solid, but it's just kind of like nothing new. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, he's kind of got a role.
Yeah, he's a working actor. That's hard enough.
Yeah.
And we know his name.
What's that?
We know
his name. Yeah, we do. All right, now let's go ahead and I guess we'll do let's do most anticipated before we get to our worst picture. Most anticipated film in 2024.
Okay, I bet you we have the same one.
I'm pretty sure we do.
Is it Robert Eggers' Nosferatu?
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, but I've been anticipating this for I think it's been years. Like I remember a friend of mine. He's in like different kind of groups for writers, and he got a hold of the screenplay and sent it over to me, and I read it like right away. And it's a screenplay that you can see it on the screen as you read it. Just excellent. And so I only read it once because I didn't want to ruin it for myself. But the screenplay is amazing from the beginning to the end. The beginning scene, I'm not going to give anything away, but it reminded me of the way The Witch opens, where you're just like, oh shit,
Nice.
And it's like I'm a huge fan of Werner Herzog's Nosferatu. Like
same here. That's a good one.
I hate like saying things are my favorite or ranking things in a way that because there's so many genres. But whenever I have to, whenever someone says they want to hear my top 3 horror films, I'm always going to name Herzog's Nosferatu in the top 3, along with The Thing. Carpenter's The Thing, Herzog's Nosferatu, and the third one will just depend on my mood. But it's just a perfect film to me because it's so gothic and eerie, and the tone is just right, and the actors, I love every second of the film. So I have such a reverence for that film, more so even than like the 1920s Nosferatu, that I don't sit around and think about that or watch it again.
Right.
I love Herzog's Nosferatu. And so when I think of Nosferatu, I think of that film. And I feel like the only director that I would be stoked about doing it is Robert Eggers. Like he's the guy that's going to get it. He's the guy that's going to cast the right people. He's the guy that's going to do it perfectly. He's the director who hasn't done anything bad at all.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm so excited, like to the point where I have like almost anxiety because I'm thinking like, okay, what theater am I going to watch it in and with who? And, to make sure that nothing gets ruined in my experience. And I'll watch the opening night too. And that's how I look at Westman as well.
Right. And with this, it's going to be fucking heavy, dark, and brooding, just like everything else he does. And that's, to me, that's the perfect fit for Nosferatu. Like, there's not going to be explosions and fucking CGI bullshit bats and everything. There's going to be heavy, dark, fucking, Yeah.
Yeah, and like this is the guy to do it. Like he pays so much attention to detail and art direction. Like it's his work is stunning, and he's the guy to do this right. So I'm so excited about it.
My
And
second most anticipated thing, which you might be looking forward to it, I am because most original cast is in it and stuff, and it's one of my favorite movies as a kid. But I'm looking forward to Beetlejuice too. I don't know if it's going to be good. It's probably not going to be good because Beetlejuice is a fucking classic. But
I don't
you
see
never
how it
know.
can be good, but
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
like, that's what I was like, it's out there. Like, all right, cool. I do want to see it when it comes out, but I'm not expecting too terribly much. But I'm very like, I don't know, more like curious to how it's going to go down, really, you know?
Yeah, I just been burned too many times by like remakes or reboots and stuff like that. Like, do you remember like when Ghostbusters came out? I was like, oh, it's gonna be awesome, and then I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? Stranger Things sort of shit. Same with like the It movie, where I was just like,
Oh God, yeah,
ah, we've done this
yeah.
enough, It's even some of the same actors where I'm like, I like Stranger Things. I don't need to see it again and again and again and everything.
And that's
Like,
pretty much what the new It was. It was Stranger Things with Pennywise, you know?
yeah, exactly. Just like, oh. But we have what's his name? Bill Skarsgård playing Nosferatu.
Yeah,
That'll be cool.
perfect
I
choice.
like
Yeah,
that.
perfect choice.
Yeah, I like that choice a lot. I'm disappointed a little bit. Like I don't even think that's a good word to say. But the Anna Taylor, what's her name? Anna Taylor Joy isn't going to be the lead in Nosferatu, but I like Lily Rose Depp a lot. Like
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah.
she has a good look too for this role. Um, that Isabella Johnny sort of haunting, large eyes and forlorn sort of look.
Mm-hmm.
Better than her
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah. I think those two are going to make a good combo. Also
Yeah.
something with Skarsgård, I don't think a lot of people realize or watched or whatever, but Castle Rock that was on Hulu for a little bit, the series Castle Rock. I thought that was really fucking cool, and he played a really creepy ass fucking part in that show. You know?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Have you seen Castle Rock?
I don't remember watching it, so there's that.
Okay, well you should maybe something fun to revisit. I think they did 2 or 3 seasons maybe, and it got canceled unfortunately. They even
Uh-huh.
did a whole thing like with what's her name that was playing the role like from Misery. I'm having a brain fart on her name, but they did like a
Oh,
whole Misery thing on the last season, combined with what was going on with Bill Skarsgård.
okay. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a long time ago. I know I started watching it, but I just don't remember much about it anymore. It's been too long.
but he's a good actor. I dig what he does, and I think he's gonna pull the Nosferatu thing off well.
For
I
sure.
think, but my ultimate choice for Nosferatu though, man, is William Dafoe. I wish they would give that to him. You
Nah,
know,
because he already played Max Shrek in Shadow of a Vampire, so I just think that wouldn't be a good call.
yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're
He
saying.
just looks like a vampire though already. You don't have to put any makeup on him. You know, he's got that facial structure. Like, just give him some pointy ears. He's a vampire.
I mean, he's in the movie at least,
Yeah, that's
so
true. Yeah.
he's playing a professor. It's
Yeah.
got a good cast: Nicholas Hoult, yeah, Willem Dafoe, of course, Bill Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman's coming back in it. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
not
that. Big
freaking.
time.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I just love like the path of this guy's career. Just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, and keep it up, dude. Like, don't disappoint us.
I can't imagine. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's just somebody with good taste in everything. Like to me, like he can't really do any wrong. It would be weird if he did something bad. I'd be like, did you get someone different on your team? That's another
Yeah.
thing. He obviously has a good team. It's not just him, it's everybody he works with that he's picked and his cast. Like he's obviously got a good group of people that all come up with these films.
Yeah, totally. It's a total team effort.
Yeah. So
All right. Now we're getting down to, well, this is
worst.
the last category. Worst picture.
This I have a tie.
Okay.
So The Nun 2.
I haven't seen that.
I don't even know what I watched. I don't remember The Nun, and The Nun 2 is just as forgettable. It doesn't really feature The Nun very much.
Oh.
It doesn't make any sense. It's boring. It's not scary. It's predictable. It's drawn out. It's laughable. It's not good. And it feels like it's phoning it in for the box office money, and that's it. There's nothing about it that was good, in my opinion.
Right.
It was exhausting to watch. Like, I wish we didn't even go see it. And I normally will see anything in the theater, but I wish that I'd never even went and saw it. So The Nun 2, okay, here's where I feel a bit bad with the second one that's runner up. Suitable Flesh.
I haven't seen that either. I have not seen that.
I don't understand. Like, it's definitely a B movie horror, B movie quality. It's fine, whatever. But why is Heather Graham in it? Like, she's good. She's a good actor. Like, I feel like I want to go to her manager and be like, don't do that to her again, ever. It's just really atrocious. Like, not even in a fun way, like there's no reason at this point she should be doing like a bunch of gross sex scenes with no-name actors. I'm sorry, but it was just torturous. Really bad editing and horrible music. I don't understand. Like, I think it's because she's in it that it made me be like, oh, cool, Heather Graham's in a horror movie. This should be interesting, or, kind of good. And I watched it and I was like, no, don't do this, Like, they can't, is it that hard to get work? That's awful. Something bad is going on in the industry. We all know it's hard for women, of different ages to get work, but this is unacceptable in my opinion.
Wow.
It's just bad. It's in that category of just like, here's a bunch of stuff on Shudder. Here's a bunch of stuff. Go watch stuff,
And I love Shudder and all too, but like last year, they're like originals. A lot of the originals are just like, I think right now, I think Screenbox has got a better selection, and that's saying a lot because I love Shudder, but Screenbox is killing it right now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty bad if Screenbox and Tubi are catching up to do better films and have better filmmakers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt very uninspired, and I just felt awful, like seeing a good actor doing this stuff. Like, I could see like if it's just like a bunch of sort of B movie actors and stuff, and you're just like kind of watching it with your friends and laughing and enjoying it, but this made me feel bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not on my list of things to watch. I mean, I will eventually watch it because I try to watch, pretty much everything for the most part. But I don't mean I'm going to finish it. I might start. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I've done that a bunch for the past few years. But I used to be a completionist. Like, I'm going to watch it all the way through. But I'm like, I ain't got time for all that now,
Yeah, sure. I even have the time, and I just don't. I can't stand like feeling insulted as an audience member. Like, who is the audience for this? Like, how do you go from like I don't know, Heather Graham and a Paul Thomas Anderson film to this, which is like no one should have ever made it, Yeah, I guess that's what it is. I don't like to feel like they wasted the actors' time, and that how hard it is for people who do like good things to get their stuff made, and then there's this,
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. But I think it's just, you're going to see that in everything, in movies, television, maybe not books. I don't really know. Maybe you do, but all the different forms of media, there's art, and then there's just like trash that makes money.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying there, and I've seen it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a scene in it that I posted on my Instagram where she's basically like getting oral from this like supposedly young hot dude. I guess he's supposed to be like a hot dude. I don't know. Some actor. But she's like on the ledge of a window and then suddenly realizes that it's an old man who's down on her, and he throws her out the window.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like, what the hell? And it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be campy. So that's another problem where you're just like, ew, the tone is like trying to make it like serious in a
Mm.
way. So it's just, if it had gone a little bit more like serial mom campy, maybe like the trailer makes it look like it's going to be campy in that way, but the film itself doesn't play that way.
Mm. Yeah, that's
So
not good.
really weird. Yeah, really, really weird. I don't know what is going on with that movie.
Uh,
It is not
yeah.
suitable for any flesh.
Yeah, there you go. That's why it's called that. All
Uh,
right. So I guess we're down to my worst movie.
mhm.
And yeah, this one I was looking forward to this because I've heard about it throughout the year and I was like, all right, I'm gonna check it out. And this was a very like last minute thing. I watched this during the Christmas holiday, and the director's pretty good with stuff. The
Yeah.
director is Nick Cassavetes. Like
Oh,
he does like Face Off,
yeah.
other cool stuff. But
Oh,
he really fucked it up on God is a Bullet. I really did not like this movie at all.
oh, okay. I saw you had sent me a message about it, and I had it on my watch list and took it off. Okay.
It is fucking horrible. I mean, between
Oh,
all the fake tattoos and the five finger death punch look of all these Satanist quotation marks, and it
no.
is so fucking bad. I'm like, what is this, man?
What
Like,
is going on?
and it's got a great name, God is a Bull. I'm like, fuck yeah. And like,
Badass name.
even the trailer, the way they cut the trailer, like, oh, this is gonna be like maybe a Mandy-ish type, like, stylized movie. No, 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 it's nothing like that. It's like watching an episode of whatever that biker TV show was that was really cheesy
Oh
that everybody loved. Sons of Anarchy. It's like Sons of Anarchy with Satanists or horrible Satanists, and like it's super, super, super cliche with the Satanist bullshit on here, and the fake tattoos, and then you got Jamie Foxx playing some weird
yeah.
mystic guy in the desert, which makes no fucking sense at all. The main bad guy in this is some like little like unintimidating looking dude, the main cult member guy. I'm like, how are you supposed to be afraid of this little fucking guy? I'm like, what is
Uh,
this shit? This is nothing good about this. Like I give this
this
like
is
a 3.
weird. I cannot believe Nick Cassavetes has come to this. I mean, it's sad too because I see it's Micah Monroe and Carl Glusman. Both of those are really interesting, cool actors. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
say they're kind of in that category of like a Chloe Sevigny, type of interesting vibe and look, but yet they're doing this kind of shit. The last movie they were in together was Watcher, which I thought was unwatchable. So fucking boring.
Oh, I remember that one. I think I've
Oh,
seen it, but I don't remember it.
it's so
So
boring. It's not memorable.
that's
Why?
probably why.
How did Jamie Foxx get in there? Like he
I
has
don't know. He was just like thrown in there. He's some
what
mystic out in the desert. What's that?
what is happening? Like
I
this
don't know. It's like a
right?
crock pot full of shit. Like it's bad. It's like they
Right.
just threw everything together. And it's like, all right, cool. We like Satanist photos in there. Let's throw biker gang in there. All right, let's put some really generic like rock music in there. People like that. It's just
And,
I don't know who this is for, but
oh
I think it's for like Five Finger Death Punch fans or whatever. So
my
you know,
God. You got Jamie Lannister in there.
who's that?
Jamie Lannister is in there.
Oh yeah, Jamie Lannister's in it. His character is horrible, horrible.
Is he the lead?
He is the lead, and he's fucking horrible.
Oh boy.
And he's
This
not really a bad actor at all. If he's placed in
no.
the right role, he's pretty good. But the role he's in this don't make any. He's like he goes undercover and gets all these tattoos to become a Satanist and follow the rest of these Satanists to find the main Satanist that's kidnapped some girl or some shit. And there's
This
supposed to be like some cannibalism mixed in there. I never saw that, but it was described as a cannibalistic Satan action horror movie. And that when I heard that, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting.
mhm.
And it's yeah, none of that.
I wonder what I would be really interesting to find out what went wrong in the process of making this film. You know what I mean? Because you've got one of like Nick Cassavetes. Come on,
Yeah,
how do you go and make a bad movie with him? Like something clearly weird was going on with financing, producers, something,
I think it
something.
was written by AI. It's like if AI was like, "Hey, make a movie, and this is the elements you want in the movie. You want by
Well,
motorcyclists and Satanists and action, and throw
there's
it in
two
this."
writers, which is never good in my opinion, unless they're like brothers or sisters, because usually two writers kind of make a movie go in too many different directions. I think. I don't know. I can usually tell when it's more than one writer because I'm just like, that was a fucking mess.
Mm-hmm.
But like this to me feels like one of those things that happens in pre-production where everything goes wrong and then you still do the movie anyway. Like you lost some money or somebody's an alcoholic or you know what I mean? Like
Right.
something really bad was going on in the production before this got made for it to happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought it was based off a book too. I think it was based off a novel. So if
It'd
the
be
novel's this bad, it's really bad.
it'd be interesting to see a like a documentary about the pre-production to see what happened.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't see anything about it being based on anything.
Okay, well, that's good enough. I was like, if it's based off a novel, man, that means the novel must be really bad, or this is that
Not
bad of a movie.
not necessarily.
Right.
No, you can make a lot of bad shit out of really good stories.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like if you were to tell me we're gonna have Nick Cassavetes direct this idea, here's the story, I would have been like, ooh, that sounds great. You
Hmm.
know, so it's really kind of ridiculous how how it ended up this way, you know?
And I was looking forward to this like all year. Like I've heard about it. Like I'm gonna wait till towards
Yeah.
the end of the year because it's probably gonna be my favorite movie. I know it's gonna be a nine
Yeah.
or a 10. I just know it. This
Yeah.
what it's about. Like I'm all about all this sounds really cool. No. Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, even the distributor is like, who's that? It just doesn't have anything involved in it. I want, yeah, this would be an interesting case study to be like, here's how this went wrong.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So interesting. Yeah.
Another one I was disappointed with. I didn't hate like I hate this movie. I thought this next movie is like a six or something. But and I
Mhm.
don't know why this movie even exists because there's already an original version of it. They had more of a budget for this one, but it's Malum. Have you seen Malum?
No. How do you spell that?
Mallum, I think. I think.
I've
I
never
gotta
even heard
look it
of
up.
it.
But
Yeah.
it's
Alum. Alum.
yeah. And
No.
it's based off the first movie that came out by the same director. He remade his own movie, Last Shift. I'm sorry, yeah, The Last Shift, which I thought was pretty damn decent. That was the original movie. He remade it with a better budget, but a worse movie.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, and I thought this was gonna be cool too. This was another one I was looking forward to last year. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, Last Shift was cool, but it was
Uh,
definitely low budget, but really well done. And
yeah.
then he comes up with Malum. He remakes his own movie with a
Oh,
little bit more of a budget, but the special effects still look pretty crappy.
that's
So
too bad.
yeah, and I was looking forward to this one. I watched that one during Christmas break, and I'm like, ah, that's not good at all.
Oh no. Should have just left it alone and done something else.
Yeah, I have no, and it's a direct remake of his own movie. There's like nothing different, nothing really adds to the story or anything. It like takes away from the first movie, I think, and I don't know. It's very weird why he did that.
Yeah. You know, I'd
Yeah.
like to see the directors and writers of The Void do another film.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
So that was really good. It wasn't like the best what do I want to say? Story, I guess, but it was a good story and it had great visuals, really, really great visuals and good acting. And they did it in low budget, and it's still I
Hmm.
still think about that movie. Like they did a really good job. I'd love to see them do something else. I think they have like art director, kind of like Eggers. They have a lot of like art director art experience in the past, so they bring that into their films, which I love. I think that's one of my favorite things to see a lot of really amazing, beautiful art direction.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd
It,
like to see them do something for sure.
for me, it's almost like you don't even need to have a great story if you have a great art direction, something that stands out that way. That it's kind of like it gives it a pass in a way to having a great story.
Yeah, it sets the mood for it. If the mood's really good and like intriguing and stuff, you don't
Yeah,
really need a strong story there.
yeah, you can have an okay story, and as long as you have good actors and great art direction, I'm probably going to enjoy it, and a good score. Um, like they don't have to be 10 out of 10, but like if art direction is kind of 9 out of 10 and everything else is mediocre, it still is going to elevate that movie in
That's
my
kind
mind. Yeah.
That's kind of like one of my favorite films, like Drive. Drive's not a great
Yeah,
fucking super good story, but man, the mood of that movie, like the music, the way it looks, like that's what gives it like a 10 out of 10 for me, you know?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And like, Mandy falls a little bit in that category. It is a good story.
Hmm.
But it's not like super like traditional, like beginning, middle, end, sort of like I could see the strongest points aren't necessarily the story, it's
Right.
more so the visuals and the music and the acting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what really puts that over the top. I had a friend of mine today watch Mandy for the first time. He's like, "Yeah, I understand all the hype around this now. This is one of my favorite movies now." And I was like, "Fuck yeah." You know,
Yeah.
welcome to the club. Yeah, fucking Mandy. I think Panos is well, he is working on another film, but I don't
Yes.
know when that's supposed to come out. Maybe this year, possibly towards the end of the year, possibly, but I don't know. He's
Um,
hard to like get a hold of or get any information about. And I've been trying to get him on the podcast for years now. I have no idea how to contact him, and I've looked into it.
yeah, I don't really think he's an interview guy, but if he
No.
did, that'd be badass. But yeah, it's
Oh
gonna
God.
be a body horror called Necrocosm.
Mm-hmm.
A24, so he's got some money behind it, which is great, and it's in production. It as of last year. So yeah, I don't know when the release date is either. Maybe this year. That would be awesome if they
It
were
would
filming
be.
here, but who knows?
And I'm 100% down with anything he does. Like, fuck, I am there.
That title, Necrocosm.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
Okay.
It's
Oh
gonna. I
shit.
think it's gonna be badass.
Of course.
Yeah. It just
Of course.
sounds metal already too, like Necrocosm. Like, yeah. Fucking.
He's another one that just keeps getting better and better and better. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's doing something completely different. I think. He's on his own like dimension, in his own dimension, pretty much.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's an XYZ film, so it's great, good distribution. And then with the money from A24, man. And I love the storyline. Check it out. It's a phantasmagorical fantasy nightmare set deep within a strange galaxy where two lovers are torn apart as they try to survive a malevolent invasion.
Yeah. I mean, what's not to love about that? I mean, come on.
There's nothing else about it. So I love that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to freak out when I see the first trailer.
I'm gonna have all the fucking merch, whatever kind of like weapon they have in this movie. I'm gonna have a version of that somewhere, like I did with Mandy. Like I'm insane with that shit.
All the dolls. You guys
Yeah,
sell any dolls? I need
yeah.
all the dolls for Necrocosm.
Make all them whatever kind of strange creatures you got. Make a Funko Pop. I'll buy the motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, it's so funny.
I will buy the special edition VHS because I know that'll be coming. I'll buy the big giant fucking clamshell version of it, like I
Yeah,
did Mandy. Yeah.
totally.
I've even got a German version of Mandy that my friend Ralph sent me over. It's the German like special edition of vinyl that came out for the soundtrack actually, and it's got all kinds of like crazy shit we didn't get over here, and I have that. He gave that to me. I think it was last Christmas before last, I believe, or like a birthday or something. He sent that over, and fucking yeah, so cool. Like all the different special editions go around to that film. Like if they do the same thing with this one, it's gonna be
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. I mean that just that what one episode on the Guillermo del Toro Cabinet of Curiosities
Hmm.
was like, oh shit.
It's like, give me more of this, man. Like, I want more of this episode extended on. I don't give a shit about the rest of these episodes. Give me this. I mean, there was a few other good ones on there, but his blew everybody away like he always does. Like it's.
Totally.
Spanish
Yeah.
Cosmatos.
I just don't see anything at all on release dates, and it. I just people saying it takes them a while, but maybe with more of the money, like from a bigger backer, it won't take as long as the last ones did. But I
Hmm.
know, like for Mandy, he didn't have enough to quite finish it until Johan Johansson came along and gave him the rest to make the film. So not having to worry about some of those financial things, we'll see if it's a bit sooner because he's
Yeah.
started, in production last year.
But hey, take your time. Like, do your thing. Like, don't rush it. Like,
Yeah,
he knows what we want.
exactly.
Yeah. He's got his own cult, man. He just doesn't know it. He might know it.
I know it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's so funny. As I sit here with my coffee cup on a Mandy coaster,
Oh, I don't have a Mandy
Yeah.
coaster. That's cool. Where'd you get that?
It was in some Mandy box set that I had with a bunch of stuff in it. I don't remember like who put it out, but it was, it had a box and then a bunch of Mandy stuff in it.
Hmm.
And it had a 4-set poster and four set coaster. And one of the coasters is just Panos just standing there in the fog.
Oh, wow.
It's so funny because no one would know who that is. Just like, who's that guy just in the forest on your
Right.
poster? The other one is Mandy, and then Children of the New Dawn logo, and the other one is one of the like motorcycle guys.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which, like, why were they there? Who cares? It's
I don't care. They were
badass.
amazing though. And
Yeah.
fucking terrifying too, man. God damn. Like I don't get scared in movies, but I did get some chills with those guys. There's just something so menacing about those fucking, the Black Skull bikers or whatever. Like fuck.
Yeah. It's like the Road Warriors post-apocalyptic meets the Hellraiser Cenobites.
Yes. Yep.
And then why was there a guy with like a fucking 6-foot long chainsaw? Who cares?
Yeah. It's
Amazing.
amazing. Yeah. I still want that statue. I don't have that one. The one with Red fighting him with the chainsaws. I don't have that statue because it's like $400, but I really want that.
What about the big like axe thing?
I got the middle version of that, not the full size, but the other one.
The light, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, the life size one is like $300.
Yeah, not really bad. Like
That's not bad. That's
I
worth
still know
it.
where. Yeah. Didn't you get one too, or?
No,
I
I
thought you
didn't.
did.
No. It was sold out, I think, kind of fast the first time it went through with on Legion M.
Yeah.
It's available now for sure, but no, I want that, and I also want to get the. I think Talk to Me. There's a company that has the hand that they did
Yeah,
too.
I've seen that floating around. Yep, that looks
Yeah,
cool.
it's kind of expensive, but I think I might get that one. It's like some ceramics company makes these different things. So when I clicked on it the first time, it wasn't anywhere actually on the site that they linked it to. So I was like,
Yeah, I just recently purchased or pre-ordered a collector's edition Conan box set of the two movies or whatever. But the way it's done and the artwork that's for, I'm like, all right, I'm pre-ordering that. I'm like, so that comes in like pretty soon. I'm looking forward to that. I love the first Conan film; it's so good. And the second one's just cheesy and fun, but
Yeah, I love that second one though too.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I grew up with those two movies. Yeah,
Me
I always
too.
had a love for that second one, just because that like magician guy that, in the Harlem in the mirror room. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and Grace Jones.
Yeah, Grace Jones is a badass.
Wild.
Yeah, seriously, I'm not sure she was acting in that movie.
I know. I saw an interview with Schwarzenegger where he was talking about her and like how she legit was like hitting people super hard with that like spear thing.
Mm-hmm.
I that staff, and I was like, oh my God, that's scary. Like they were like, backing off from her.
Yeah. And she was in really good shape too. I'm sure she was strong as fuck and, probably hurting some people.
Yeah, she was. That interview was really funny.
I think all that stuff's going to be on this box set. There's a whole bunch of documentaries and interviews and stuff. So,
did you know she had turned down the role in Blade Runner? I think it's the role that Daryl Hannah got. That was a choice.
Yeah, that would be a cool choice. I didn't know that.
What did she turn down? She turned down the lead role in Blade Runner? What?
Wow.
Not Decker, right? I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, but I'd still watch it. It's Grace Jones, so.
Yeah, pretty interesting. She was approached by Ridley Scott for a leading role, and then I want to say it was the Daryl Hannah role though.
Most likely,
This like could be clickbait where it's a whole leading role.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a leading role.
No, not really.
Role. Yeah.
Then she did that really awesome vampire movie called Vampire.
Oh,
She made a mean-looking fucking vampire. Holy shit.
Totally.
Yeah. And she had that like red wig on and like the white face paint she was wearing and shit. Like that was pretty fucked up and terrifying,
Oh, Vamp. Yeah.
Yeah, Vamp. That's it. Yeah, Vamp. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
She's
a good one.
interesting. She's still around.
She is. I didn't look her up. I was wondering about that the other day. I was like, is Grace Jones still alive? So she is.
Yep. She's 75.
Wow. What is she doing? Anything, or is she just kind of chilling? I guess.
I think she's still doing shit because I remember seeing like some kind of, maybe not lately, but I think she still performs occasionally here and there. I'm
Mm.
not sure. Let's see, like her Instagram had some tour in June of last year. So that's pretty good.
Oh, had no idea. I didn't know she was around.
Yeah. Like she was in a festival in June of last year, headlining one of the dates. The festival looks like it had a lot of good bands.
That's
So that's
crazy. You don't hear her name at all, though. I mean, I never hear Grace Jones mentioned on anything, like any kind
yeah.
of website or nothing. That's very weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like this past winter there was some festivals. We had a thing called the Hoko Fest, and Angie Bowie was in it, and I was like, "What? Angie
Wow.
Bowie? Change your last name, by the way."
Yeah.
I haven't been a Bowie in a long time.
Right.
Uh,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Angela Bowie still performs live. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, totally. And she's 74.
Wow, another 74-year-old. Huh.
They both look way better than Madonna.
She looks
Madonna,
better than Madonna, yeah.
Madonna's 65. I just saw um, in December Barbara Crampton in person. She's also the same age as Madonna. Barbara Crampton looks in her 20s, like not
She's a
even like
vampire. Barbara Crampton is a vampire.
that's amazing. I was like, what is going on? This is crazy.
Yeah, everybody says it about her. I've even told her that on Twitter, and I think she tweeted back at me before. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Barbara Crampton just tweeted back at me, but yeah, I'm like, yeah, you're a vampire, Barbara Crampton.
I should
Like, you don't
ask
fucking
her.
age.
I think it's kind of a rude question, but I did want to ask her, like, what is her skincare protocol? Like, what is she doing? But I didn't.
Blood, blood of virgins.
I mean, she already has a beautiful face. That helps, but her skin just looks youthful. Like she does not look 65. Like, how is Madonna looking so horrible? And
I
like,
think plastic choices. I mean, plastic surgery choices. Plastic choices.
it's
Yeah.
not just that. Like she doesn't, like Barbara Crampton doesn't move around like anybody in her 60s. You know, she just is someone 20s and 30s. It's really
It's a,
weird.
it is very weird. Like she's on to something, and she's found like fountain of youth, and like I
Yeah.
said, it's virgin's blood.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, I can't believe my eyes right now in person that she looks like that. Is
So I've
crazy.
never seen her in person. I've only seen her like through social media and all that stuff. So knowing that she looks the same way in person, that's pretty crazy.
She looks that way, like to the eye. It's
Wow.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, she's on to
But I
something.
didn't think that was even her at first. I was like, that's just some young woman. Oh no, that's a
Uh,
young woman named Barbara Crampton.
wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yep. I'd like
she's
to
doing.
talk to her one day.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Cool. Well, this has been a great 2023 horror Oscars. Like always, this was fun.
Nobody got slapped.
Yeah. Nobody got slapped on here. There's no Will Smith on our Oscars. No Chris Rock. It's just
Only
us
Jamie
two.
Foxx.
What's that? Jamie Foxx. Yeah, only Jamie Foxx was mentioned in his weird mystic Satanist cult halfway leader role or something, whatever the fuck he was. But
I
yeah, if
just
you want
saw
to, yeah.
something. I just saw something real quick. When
Mm.
does Blade come out? What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I know it got canceled again, then it got redone again. Like I don't know, and I'm really not
Yeah.
looking forward to that at all because to me, Wesley Snipes is Blade, and it's gonna be weird seeing anybody else play Blade.
For sure. If they could
Yeah.
do it really well, I would be so excited and so happy. Like he's such a great character.
He is, and I'm afraid though they're gonna like super Marvel it up, and it's gonna be like
Yeah.
really light and like the way the other Marvel movies look. Like how Blade looked, like it looked nothing like any other Marvel movie. It was dark and gritty and shit. And like I don't think they're gonna go that route, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. It's too bad. Maybe they should just leave it alone.
Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't come back up, but it will eventually. They're gonna bring it out. I just don't know when.
I would love to see more like black vampire movies. Like that's something it's a badass genre.
Yep.
And I can only think of like a handful and they're all cool as shit and they're unusual. I would love to see that.
Yeah. Instead of giving us more like zombie movies, why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Change it up
Yeah.
a little bit.
Maybe like Jordan Peele or someone could
Yeah.
write that. That would be badass. Like I'm looking forward to whatever he does after Nope. Now I'm all in.
Dude, yeah, Nope was so fucking good. And it's so weird too, but it was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of our best pictures before.
Yep. The fucking cowboy hat alien, which I think is pretty terrifying. Like, because the shit that's flying around now that people are taking pictures of, the thing now looks like a squid, and then you got these other weird shaped things floating around. Like, who knows? There could be a cowboy shaped fucking creature up in the sky. You never know.
The inside of it was so scary. It
Yeah.
of like Fire in the Sky. I was like, oh, thank you. But yeah, that movie was amazing. So good.
That's how you do a really cool, different take on an alien movie. That's how you do it. And I guess it was an alien. They really never said. We assume it was an alien, or it was just something here before we were here. So I don't know.
I think it was an alien.
I think so too. But the way they were calling like a creature, like was it something here during the prehistoric times? They were like eating dinosaurs. Was it something from there? Because they never really said like actual alien or like UFO type thing. I don't think they ever mentioned that.
I like when characters stay away from saying like flat out vampire or alien or zombie, and you just assume what it is. Like, I think my take was that it was an alien, that because there's some lore of them being in the clouds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked that they made it like basically a cross between a creature and like what you would think is a UFO. That was cool. Just like one big creature hanging out, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't a ship or anything. It was a fucking creature. I think it makes it much creepier, man. Like,
definitely. Yeah, for sure. I had a script I was working on for a little while where it was people thought it was drones. I don't know if you remember, there was a time where kind of like in rural America, a lot of people kept seeing these black drones everywhere, and no one knew where they were from. Like pretty big ones, like the 6 foot large ones. But the script I was going to write was kind of like Critters / Tremors, where it's a creature film, Slither, whatever. But it was these that looked like they were like flying drone creatures, and then when you shoot them down, you could see it was a creature.
Oh, that'd have been cool as hell. Yeah,
technology when they fly, but yeah. Maybe
that
I'll
sounds cool.
Do it.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, I like the sound of that. That sounds weird and creepy. So
yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, do it. All right. Well, this has been fun and stuff. And next time we get together, we'll do another one of our horror Seinfeld episodes. So we're definitely due out for another one of those.
Perfect. That sounds great.
So we'll do that soon and stuff. And you have yourself a good rest of your weekend. And it was good talking with you.
You too. See you later.
Bye.